Live in 5. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. This is the broadcast Should the Swastika be legalized in all countries? Should cannabis be legalized and regulated? Cannabis, yes, I'm certain. But about the swastika, I'd have to study first. And then you could also add, should hexagram be banned and things like that. And I read a little bit about it already. And what I found interesting is that the swastikas, in Germany the swastika is banned, but the swastikas on Hindu, Buddhist and Jain temples are exempt as religious symbols, cannot be banned in Germany. It's this part right here. Germany. It is also censored from the reprints of 1930s railway timetables published by the Reichsbahn. The eagle remains, but appears to be holding a solid black circle between its talons. And we see that this was the flag of Germany, the national flag of Germany and Marine Jack of Germany, 1935 to 1945. And then combined with all that stuff that people claim, so I was searching for evidence that proves that the Holocaust happened beyond any reasonable doubt. And instead I've only found things that prove that the Holocaust never existed, that they were worker camps where people were dying of starvation, yet Auschwitz had a swimming pool, etc. And they were deloused, they were suffering from typhus, etc. And also millions of Germans died, and war is a bad thing, so I need to say that also. But yeah, let's see. But there was something I wanted to look up. Oh yeah, and Frank again. This is the third broadcast I look it up in. And Frank Sinatra. That's Sinatra is Rosicrucian. Then you are part of the 100%. Okay, the following are claims other people have made, not me. And Frank diary fake, Kristallnacht, Bolshevik attacks to make Germans look bad, final solution originally a Jewish idea to exterminate the German people. Theodor Kaufman, the book Germany Must Perish. So that was a Jewish man, Theodor Kaufman. That book you can download online. It's photocopied. The book Germany Must Perish, about the Jewish idea to exterminate the German people. The first time the final solution idea was used in the sense of depopulating large numbers of people, sterilizing the German people. The Holocaust was fake, other than people dying of starvation. They were worker camps, not concentration camps. I said that FEMA camps have incinerator ovens and humane guillotines, a Jesuit invention. You better be damn sure about these things, because there are 6 Jews with obscene amounts of power that want to depopulate the earth. Voice of God, weapons are real. 90% of the mainstream media is owned by Jewish people, and there are some that claim that 100% of the mainstream media is Jewish owned and controlled. And there are lots of non-Jews like Ted Turner that want to depopulate earth as well. Clear from their book quotes. And you can see how many Jewish people work for CNN on that picture. So it was about, I don't know if I spelled Bolshevik correctly, but then I can show the source that I saw that on. Oh, there may be several sources about this. Fuck. And they also do things with the directed energy weapons, so such spelling errors and speech errors during speaking when people speak, that can be done with the neural network with synthetic telepathy. The voice of God weapon. The swastika is a very old symbol with use widespread throughout the world. Sometimes referred to as a Gamadion, Hakenkreuz, or flyfoot, it traditionally had been a sign of good fortune and well-being. The word swastika is derived from the Sanskrit su, meaning well, and asti, meaning being. Final solution was the extermination of Germans, also covered by Stormfront, which you can still browse via cached pages. I've made broadcasts about this. Itching in my nose. But there's nothing there. Okay. Except nose hair. The Jews are Europe's misfortune. They must somehow be eliminated, otherwise we are in danger of being eliminated by them. Joseph Goebbels quote. Diaries, page 114, excerpts 1942-1943. That's not the part that I was looking for. Let's read this with the speech engine.
A report from Paris informs me that a number of those who staged the last acts of terror have been found. About 99% of them are Eastern Jews, Ostjuden. A more rigorous regime is now to be applied to these Jews. As far as I am concerned, it would be best if we either evacuated or liquidated all Eastern Jews still remaining in Paris. By nature and race they will always be our natural enemies anyway. May 15, 1942, p. 214. In that connection it is significant that most of the local population leave with us wherever our troops are compelled to withdraw. Bolshevism is a doctrine of the devil, and anybody who has once suffered from this scourge doesn't want anything to do with it again. The sufferings of the Russian people under Bolshevism are indescribable. This Jewish terrorism must be radically eliminated from all of Europe. That is our historic task. February 14, 1942, pages 85 to 86. nizker.org/web/people/g/Goebbels Joseph/Goebbels 1948 excerpts 02.html.
So terrorism is bad no matter who does it, and it's always illegal.
It's snow on a fir. My love won't wait. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Wrongly attributed to George Orwell according to quote investigator. To tell the truth, to arrive together at the truth, is a communist and revolutionary act. Unsigned, written by Antonio Gramsci in collaboration with Palmiro Togliatti, Lord Indwovo, June 21, 1919, Volume 1. Number 7, http://quoteinvestigator.com/2013/02/24/Truth Revolutionary. The Kristallnacht arrests communist, Bolshevik plotters were behind Kristallnacht. Bolshevik revolutionaries were arrested in small German towns. The world's greatest hate hoax. The Zionist, Bolshevik goal with Kristallnacht was to portray the German people as villains, as well as to make a vast sum in insurance policies, and collapse the German insurance industry. Kristallnacht was not the anti-Semitic storm it was portrayed as. The ravaging mobs were a few hundred paid communists from around all of Germany. http://truthseekerarchive.blogspot.nl/2010/09/look at who was really behind.html. You are repeating a straw man argument originally made to deflect attention from the fact that no Israelis died in the attacks on the Twin Towers. A total of 2,071 occupants of the World Trade Center died on September 11, among the 2,749 victims of the WTC attacks. According to an article in the October 11, 2001, Wall Street Journal, roughly 1,700 people had listed the religion of a person missing in the WTC attacks. Approximately 10% were Jewish. A later article, in the September 5, 2002, Jewish Week, states, based on the list of names, biographical information compiled by the New York Times, and information from records at the medical examiner's office, there were at least 400 victims either confirmed or strongly believed to be Jewish. This would be approximately 15% of the total victims of the WTC attacks. A partial list of 390 Cantor Fitzgerald employees who died, out of 658 in the company, lists 49 Jewish memorial services, which is between 12% and 13%.
So we know that now, but it's possible that controlled opposition, a Jewish person named Rabbi Alam, claimed that there were not a single Jew died on 9/11 and planes were not, quote, solely responsible, unquote, for buildings collapse. And that may be a controlled opposition thing, then they hope that all these right-wing radicals and such bite and copy this, and then it turns out it's a lie, basically. So they say never trust a Jew, and they're very smart, so they do that. They've organized this, they think, and that's why they think they're smart. Qua Bolshevik Kristallnacht. Okay, so then we can continue.
Prominent modem. Not a single Jew died on September 11 and planes were not solely responsible for buildings collapse. MD Rabbi Alam, a prominent Missouri Democrat, is under fire after uttering some patently bizarre words about September 11. Alam, who hopes to be the state's next Secretary of State, recently reiterated his belief that no Jewish people, not a single one, died in the 9/11 terror attacks. To add insult to injury, he's also an alleged truther. Missouri politician apologizes for claims no Jews died on September 11. Video for No Jews in WTC 9/11 YouTube.com. That there were explosives in the WTC is no conspiracy theory but a conspiracy fact. You can see them going off in the official MSM videos of the 9/11 attacks. WTC demolition flashes, on video, Zendrius Martin, 2012. See the 9/11 documentary, 9/11 Loose Change 2nd edition to see the explosives that demolished the WTC going off clearly, at 53 minutes 12 seconds. Core columns at World Trade Center were cut at 45-degree angle prior to.
Could it be a controlled opposition shield title Loose Change? Like you lose and you have to change, basically conform with what we're saying, be assimilated and stuff like that. Stop trying to expose us and help with the cover-up to exterminate yourselves for a Luciferian global government or whatever. But we're exposing them, so we're the good guys. Mixing the truth with lies, the lie that the earth is flat. And what were the other lies? That's one of the main ones. Of course, shape-shifting reptilians. David Icke. Or David Icke. And there was a third one. There was a cancer car honker right there. A taginele cancer car honker. Honking the cancer car horn. Okay. That's like this. Oh yeah, things that they mix the truth. For example, that quote of Rockefeller, creating a crisis big enough to impose their totalitarian New World Order global government upon the people. According to InfoWars, it's a Rockefeller quote, but it's not a Rockefeller quote according to other sources. And that's their real plan. 4 phases of active measures. So they want to impose, basically, phase 4 is normalization, is when the tanks roll in. It's explained in the description of this video, so you can read that. And that's the real agenda, as they call it, or strategy to take over the world. So I'm doing it anyway.
Them coming down on September 11th. The only way that those center core columns, 47 and 0, could have collapsed is if the columns had previously already been cut prior to impact. So you might tell me that column was cut during cleanup, but you would be wrong. Columns cut during cleanup were not cut at a 45-degree angle, as seen here. Dozens of first responders, eyewitnesses and reporters on the street all reported hearing multiple explosions prior to the towers falling. Now the only way to have pre-cut the 47 core columns prior to 9/11 would have been if you had private, extended access to the elevator shafts. Elevator World magazine did a feature story on the company hired to modernize the elevators at the World Trade Centers. They had private, unfettered access for a 30-day period. Who was in charge of security for WTC? Marvin Bush, the brother of former President George W. Bush. Amazing coincidence.
So it says on this video, Loose Change 2nd edition, that it's copyrighted material from CBS, etc. And I use this because it's evidence, and an investigation into 9/11 should be reopened in relation to the thermite, a patented form of thermite only in the hands of your local governments. Should be reopened. An investigation into the thermite explosives that we can see going off also in this documentary should be done. Because I think after all these years, many people know a lot more about 9/11. And that's why they should reopen the investigation. I don't know if people can press charges with all these directed energy weapons and shit, but more about it in my previous broadcast. It may be best to do that together if you plan to do that, and then record a police officer with a candid camera. So if they illegally refuse you your right to press charges, then you can together do something about that. You could refuse to remove the video of YouTube, etc. They've also done this with me, because I attempted to press charges of incitement to commit genocide against people with book quotes that prove that they want to depopulate the earth. They tried to throw my ashtray off my desk. So it's time to kill them instead of the people they want you to kill and torture. These are evil, despicable humans that have murdered millions of people, and that think that is a form of control to torture and murder innocent people and eat infants and burn people, etc. They're mentally ill, so many people call them psychotic, pedo elite. But the Jesuits and Masons are the main people perpetrating this crime. And I think what I've seen, most of the Jews, I like some Jewish artists, etc., are nice people, on average perhaps nicer than the non-Jews, and these 6 Jews that want to depopulate the earth are an exception to the rule, and I've covered them in my previous broadcasts as well. So let's look at the Loose Change documentary, the part with the explosives going off clearly. So they demolished the WTC with explosives, And Professor Jones, not Alex Jones, who was hired by the government, analyzed this, and he's convinced that it's thermate, a patent form of thermite. There is no other explanation. You can see his video online as well. And some officials might still be denying this.
Down 7 basement levels. The molten steel was found 3, 4, and 5 weeks later, when the rubble was being removed. He said that molten steel was also found underneath World Trade Center 7. The highest temperature was in the east corner of the South Tower, where a temperature of 1,377 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded. The molten steel in the basements was more than double that temperature. Do you still think that jet fuel brought down the World Trade Center? In all the videos of the collapses, explosions can be seen bursting from the building 20 to 30 stories below the demolition wave. Etienne Sarre was filming his documentary, World Trade Center: The First 24 Hours, and caught both collapses on tape. Watch carefully. The tripod shakes 12 seconds before the North Tower begins collapsing. You're probably asking, if there were bombs in the building, how would they get there without anyone noticing? Ben Fountain, a financial analyst who worked in the World Trade Center, told People magazine that in the weeks before 9/11, there were a number of unannounced and unusual drills, where sections of both the Twin Towers...
So this is an iconic documentary, and I can advise everybody to watch this. Loose Change, second edition, recut, 2006.
But on Thursday the 6th, bomb-sniffing dogs were abruptly removed from the building.
And then a number people can call.
So who authorized all this? President Bush's brother, Marvin.
It's not at 720p, it's 480.
From 1993 until fiscal year 2000. Securicom, now known as
Bendy Broadcasting,
is an electronic security
51,
company backed by
uploaded
Kuwait
this.
American Corporation.
Okay. So, what was the subject? Well, cannabis kills tumors by blocking vascular endothelial growth factor. Tumors cannot grow without VEGF. A study done at Complutense University, and people can also eat weed, and it's a miracle cure for many diseases which the Rockefeller drug laws, have banned, and that's to sell for trillions of dollars of prescription drugs to depopulate Earth with chemicals, cancer-causing drugs. And this is why it should be regulated and legalized, so that students don't get their dogs shot and end up raped in jail, etc. over a little baggie of a plant that they have, which is healing and smells great in reality. And the torture with the centipedes to make my voice fade, that's all controlled by them, by the Jesuits. Or whoever controls them with synthetic telepathy, and they also are influencing our brain. So perhaps I should be talking about switching that thing off And also putting your cancer cell phone in airplane mode. That's the only way to make sure that it's not irradiating your body, unless you have a cancer cell phone radiation meter, a microwave meter. And there's one on eBay that measures in microwatt per square meter for 125. And there's another one, Gigahertz Solutions, is about $450 on eBay. And that's better because then you can demodulate the signal. You can hear the cancer cell phone signal. Some child is crying in the background. It can all be directed energy weapon torture, so that's documented by this microphone. If that's done with their directed energy weapon somehow. So basically, some people are totally hypnotizable, others are not hypnotizable. Some people have been drinking tap water with chemicals and other shit in it. So it's better to get that water filter, T4 nanobots and toxins, to get it filtered out, because people use tap water daily also to cook food. And some people have an air cleaner with an ionizer to filter out nanobots and other shit that's in the air nowadays with the cancer chemtrails, which are mainly cancer-causing barium. It's Project Cloverleaf of the CIA's Evergreen Aviation. Cancer chemtrails in America. Coke in America. We put coke in America. CIA. So I'm wearing this watch. I think this is better with this t-shirt, which I like. So single women are welcome to smoke a joint. You can Skype Prologic999. I'm in Mijdrecht in the Netherlands. Peace, beautiful ladies. And peas is also storable food. Of course, peas are also usable. But then you do need water, and if that's contaminated, then you need a radiological water filter. And colloidal silver is another great thing. Even the DoD's, the Department of Defense's own SDRA, Strategic Threat Reduction Agency, has tested and found that Ebola is successfully killed with colloidal silver. And then there's that part about dispersing it in aerosol form to make it 27,000 times more was the part about virions becoming more virulent, so they can spread diseases much faster through the air. And it was a Medscape.com article. I was alerted by a good YouTuber. I don't know his name anymore at the moment, but it might come to me one day. But that information is often found on governmental websites, etc. And for example, people who got swine flu influenza vaccine test positive for HIV, according to the New England Journal of Medicine. That's to sell their one of the most expensive types of drugs. So they make money from keeping people sick, not curing people. And I think they've discovered that a long time ago. So that they did help me, that was 10 years ago or so. So that doesn't guarantee that they're still not controlled with directed energy weapons and helping with depopulating Earth. So that's why I think there should be an investigation. My previous broadcast was about this. They should check all these doctors. If they have a crazy amount of dead patients, then there should be a further investigation into that. And the committee of 300 members and all Freemasons should be arrested and investigated And the ones that don't rat on their superior that told them to do these things are put away themselves, basically, for a certain period. That's the idea. To make some truly positive changes that will make the US the best USA it has ever been, and also other countries around the world. And it is an idea to make a movement against the New World Order separate from the controlled opposition people. Hybrid insect microelectromechanical systems are real. Not the best lighting conditions. So in reality, I'm totally pro legalization. So I was very happy that there are now countries and also states that allow cannabis to be grown and blown. Of course, it can also be put in space cake and bonbons and wheat tea. So I'm setting a wrong example, you could argue. And if the oldest people in the world that are known were smokers, that doesn't prove that you can live longer by smoking. But I've done another broadcast about people that don't smoke having more lung cancer than people that do smoke, and that may have to do with a reaction triggered by the smoke particles of tobacco, which may be more healing than, for example, toxins found in gasolines and other fumes that people breathe in, cleaning agents and such, chemicals especially. And this is additive-free tobacco, but it's theoretically better to use other herbs with it or to smoke it pure. But I think that's too harsh on my throat. I think that's perhaps it's more healing, but I like this. And these pictures of smokers, supposedly these black lungs of people, are photographs of coal mine workers. And I don't know if all of this is true, so you have to verify it for yourself. And if you're not smoking, then I think it's best not to begin, but I am not God or whatever. Perhaps the creator of the universe, but it's like a 1% chance. Because everything is energy, everything is possible, blah blah. And I've told about this in my previous broadcasts, how I may have created the Big Bang and the universe we know. So everything is energy, we are energy, we're bathing in the sea of energy. Also unseen energy going through our body. Me as an MC. This is a woodstone ring, reminding me of NASA. With your fake moon rocks, etc. You are me. We're not the army. We're not the army. Well, yeah, it depends on how you look at it. If Eminem calls himself a soldier, perhaps I'm one as well, who knows? Peace soldier for universal peace. Could somebody with a scalar weapon decide to fry all the circuits of all nuclear weapons on our planet? Perhaps you should build it basically to save us all. Good idea, I like that one. So perhaps I should just be quiet and think. EMP sucks, baby. Your whole watch collection, all electronic watches with a battery in them would be broken by the EMP. So that's even worse than MAD and severe nuclear winter. Well, don't call me baby. Yeah, people can Skype me, Prologic999 on Skype. And I may have to smile more. But I'd rather have a real smile, so I should quit trying to look good and just be myself. Beam Ice Elf. That's what it sounds like there. A Beam Ice Elf. Why not? We have to beam the ice. Then I should wear another hat. I'm not gonna wear my Santa hat, it's for other periods. To fit in with the crowd. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be about serious stuff. I can also talk fairy tales. Once upon a time, there was a great big slime. And all the slime wanted was to be haunted. This is why it was a weird slime. But it turned into the Rhine. And everybody lived happily ever after. All online. Pretty cool, pretty neat. Oh yeah, I see my new watch. Big or watch. Against my principle, usually, well, I only like this with this shirt basically. I also have a brown Casio. I've searched for brown digital watches and stuff. It's a really old model basically. I could also wear that with this. This is rather heavy, but it is super cool. I think pilot watches are cool. Flieger Uhr. This is an IWC homage basically to IWC, the Parnas automatic power reserve with little flying second hand, etc. And date. You can hear it. It winds, kinetic winding. Automatic means it winds with the movement of your wrist. So, and it has a power reserve indicator to see how long it will keep on moving, basically, or should keep on moving. But they have moving parts, so I think the Casio watches are a lot more reliable, accurate, and sturdy, especially, more shock resistant. Shock. So I think it's just much more fun to pleasure people, to pleasure each other, and to torture each other and shit. We don't need all that sick shit to just love each other. That's much better. And I think there is real love, that there are great people out there that are really awesome. And I love all YouTubers who have given me a like on YouTube. These are not my own likes. I didn't use software to adjust the number of likes. So unless somebody else did, these are real likes. And the number of my broadcasts is going up. I talked about it in previous broadcasts already. And it may have to do with my technique that I've demonstrated to get higher up in the YouTube search results and to get more views. And you have to watch all my videos because it's not titled that way, I think. But for my YouTubers, I do this so that they can spread the info, so that you make your own broadcast with OBS, for example. That is the program you see here. And there are lots of videos on YouTube about how to use this software with the settings. It's very easy. First you have to put in this correct information: YouTube gaming, primary YouTube ingest server, and the stream key, which you get on that YouTube live dashboard, it's called. And there you can make a title for your broadcast. And then if you hit start streaming here, then it will be a broadcast with the title you made on the live dashboard page of YouTube. So that's the way to stream. And then you may have to adjust settings. For some people it might work immediately. 64-bit, you have to do some other things to install it. It's all online how to do that. And then you can make some scenes, basically, over here. We see scenes, so then I can switch between basic, HP, this is the full camera. So I noticed that I'm looking like this, though in reality I can see the screen vividly and sharply. Display capture. This is the Sony cam, live webcam of Mijdrecht. But there's a lot of foliage because of the Oregon pyramids, mini cloudbuster, and sneak gyms. And I can advise everybody to make their own cloudbuster or buy one on eBay or anywhere. Organizeafrica.net may have some of the best cloudbusters in the world, but they can meet these real big ones are very expensive, but they will do a lot. They are huge, you could argue, and I think it's perhaps on the expensive side, but I think they may have really good cloudbusters, excellent cloudbusters. Anyway, I don't work for anyone, and I can choose the image slide, so I was showing the scenes that people can choose. And back to basics, so that's the scenes that I have gone through now. I underwent it all. And yeah. Let's see if there's more interesting information. What was this about? Should the swastika be legalized or not? Let me know what you all think and why. It doesn't have to have any evidence or anything, just your personal opinion, so others can also read it. So perhaps you can sway their opinion in the direction you want it to go that way. Any publicity is good publicity, including negative publicity. I've covered it in my previous broadcast. So I think that this stuff will make the alt-right grow. The demos and the blocking of the demos and the murder, etc. And that the demonstrators may be paid demonstrators. They get $2,500 a year if they demonstrate 6 times a year, and plus $50 per hour plus the traveling costs. So, and this was the national flag of Germany and Marine Jack of Germany from 1935 to 1945. So lots of people do not believe that the Holocaust was real. They think it was a hollow hoax. And that they're also using crisis actors on CNN, for example. Perhaps even in people's brains. CNN images with synthetic telepathy, I mean the Malig patent, the Melig patent, Robert M. Malig, the apparatus for remotely monitoring and altering brain waves. I can look up the exact description. So they're simply lying. Lots of people are lying for several reasons. Patent US 3951134. Apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering brainwaves. Robert M. Malig on Google.com patents. It's just there. So anybody can build this Malig patented, but they need the code, or the code to crack people's brainwaves. Basically, it's a piece of software that perhaps only the NSA has in its possession, so then they are the only ones that can do this, and they may have made agreements with all countries around the world that in exchange for their technology they have to do everything the satanic NSA tells them to do or orders them to do. And of course these Jesuits are higher in command, so that's why the whole government is terroristic. The Jesuits and Masons have infiltrated it, and they're controlled with these directed energy weapons, so they're all trying to serve the beast because they know it can reward them in several ways. And one trick they do is they take away from people's pleasure, for example blocking orgasms, and if they do what they want them to do, then they can let them have a girlfriend or other things. They're all totally brain controlled. With synthetic telepathy in real time, so they're remotely controlled like robots. And every idea you have and I have is made by that neural network. That's one theory. I don't think that they can do that yet, that they want to depopulate Earth to 500 million, a more controllable number, and then they may be able to do that. But if they can brain map people and the neural network can simulate any person as an experiment targeted individual subjected to their experiments, I think they may have done more things to me. So perhaps they've brain mapped me and other people, and it might take a lot of hard disk space. So my ideas about this quite boring mother of all Black Ops United States patent 9/11, the mother of black operations.blogspot.com 2008, and the patent was from 1976, filed 1974 or whatever. So that's when they had this already, and they wouldn't have been granted a patent unless it's a working application. If it does what the patent holder describes, and if not, then they don't grant the patent. So that's the main thing, and it also refers to the Hatayama patent, control of emotions, and the Brown patent describes how these two antennas can be used to remotely monitor a person's brainwave. It's Brown patents. Anyway, the crisis actors. But if you have any evidence that proves that the Holocaust was real, I really hope that you contact me and let me know what the evidence is that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that the Holocaust was real and the 6 million Jews were gassed in concentration camps. Anything that proves it at all. So they've adjusted the number also. That's one of these pictures that is in my slideshow. Yet that number of supposed Jews that died or were gassed is still 6 million, which they claim is impossible, etc. And they ridicule the truth. Perhaps they're very smart and they try to ridicule it if it is true that the Holocaust is a hoax, the hoax. Which I'm not claiming, I'm just investigating it because I'm searching for evidence that proves that the Holocaust really happened. So there were trains, there were people exported, that's all true. They don't dispute this. And my previous broadcasts are more about this stuff, so that's what you could check out. So I don't want to gas all Jews or all Muslims. I'm not some racist, I'm not a homophobic person. And I'm learning more about how to not choose sides and create universal peace. Yes. Okay. So, the crisis actors, boo-hoo. James Foley's mother is crisis actor Adriana Victoria Munoz. She played the friend of mass shooters' mothers in The Hook 2012, Eyewitness Boston Bombing 2013, Eyewitness Watertown Shooting Following Boston Bombing, and James Foley's mother in 2014. This is CNN. Hence fake news, blah blah, whatever. Swastika symbol. So I usually post in the chat. I post. I could go to a live chat right now. If there is some live broadcast on YouTube. And usually there is. And I can do my thing. Watching the solar eclipse 2 hours ago. So that may be a repetition of it, okay. On the dark side. No, someone's still there, see they're lying. Oh. Oh, I don't want to hide the chat. Well, this always looks the same, doesn't it? Normal solar eclipse. Beautiful. A black hole swallowing the moon. Far gone. Okay, let's wow, they're posting like crazy. How is this fake news? Somebody writes. That's an interesting. PBS News Hour. Doesn't say CBS. 51,128 watching now. More than 2,000 likes. Well, how nice. So this could be live. The moon is bigger than the sun. In fact, the sun is about 100 times bigger than Earth, but the moon is standing closer to Earth, so despite it being a lot smaller, it perfectly blocks the sun to that extent we're seeing here. So this is through a camera that dims the light so that you can see what's happening sort of through sunglasses, I suppose. Somebody's writing fake. Why can we see it in Texas? Somebody writes. There's no audio with it, is there? Oh, check it out. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you the Giles. The emoticons in the chat of YouTube. Then you have to scroll down. It's easy, just a couple of simple steps. Continue when it happens. Just to load the script, it's doing other things, so it may take a while, but just wait a while. And then we can scroll. Just wait a while. And then we need 2 of those. And then is this now spamming? So there, we've prepared our message, and now we're going to wait. First, wait for a moment that there is a little amount of posting in the live chat. We can also copy our thing, so we can post it again if necessary. You can also copy anything you make with this and paste it in the WordPad, and then you can reload that, and then you can simply copy and paste everything, flags and other things. Though I usually don't do that, since a deadly laser. See if I'm banned. The sun is cubical. And the law. It was under Bush at 9/11. Gee whiz. His brother, supposedly. Silverstein got a lot of insurance money, and there are lots of people that think that Jews did 9/11, with the dancing Jews also, etc. And Mossad is Jesuit controlled. In reality, there were loads of people that knew in advance, like Prince and Michael Jackson. And Alex Jones, of course, controlled opposition shields. So they cover what real opposition would also bring, but also stuff that they want them to cover. And is to prevent real resistance to their global government. I've covered controlled opposition. So they pretend that they are for, they pretend that they are against the global government, of course. So they say you are the resistance, but resistance to what? The global elite? That's kind of vague. Pedo elite is a bit clearer already. The globalists want a new world order, global government. Want power to the pedo, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, instead of power to the people. Decentralization. And I'm gonna write all that in the chat. Yesterday there was somebody with a vacuum cleaner, and now this also seems to be a vacuum cleaner, I guess. And that's rare. Usually it's nice and quiet around here. Alright. Weren't images on the previous two shots with the moon in another position? Is this live? Nice, another person also typed O in the chat because it looks like the letter O. We have a black background. But they all don't have the black background, I guess. Would be really something if the moon would fall down. I guess it's not gonna happen. So that was to demonstrate that, so this is live, supposedly. You can hide the chat like that and make it full screen. Here on the right it looks kind of weird. Is that an anomaly? Are we looking at a computer generated image, or I'll put it on 1080. Oh, it cannot handle that with the live broadcast. Oh, should I pause it? It can usually handle 720p. I hit the play button. And it takes a while because I'm broadcasting, so the computer is kind of slow. WTF? Ah, thought, but at least we can admire the spinning logo. So the idea is to put a camera on the moon. Perhaps George Soros or someone else could finance that, so that we can observe our planet Earth live from space, like the ISS, but the ISS is not showing us the whole globe. You have Meteosat, of course, and that shows the whole disk, they call it, every 3 hours in black and white. But that's not a live 720p video either. So I think the sphere doesn't look very round. It may have to do with the sensor of the camera. It's made out of pixels. And because this is not 1080p, you see even more of that, but on this one it looks different. And I doubt if it's still live, because it was showing this before, so I'm gonna turn it off. Already clicked. Okay. Crypto Judaism. Let it go. Oh, the shadow government conspiracy. Well, how can they label it a conspiracy? How can they be so sure it's a conspiracy? But it's not labeled a conspiracy theory. Though they have other articles about conspiracy theories that they label as conspiracy theory, I guess. The CIA, Vatican, edited encyclopedia, Wikipedia. The browser is kind of hanging. That's a white bar at the top, so I have to wait a while. First I want to hide this slow. Come on now. Then I wait with turning off my microphone until the speech engine is working. See? Okay. Oof. We be long or we be short? Come on. It's about being longer, living longer. It's waiting for the browser, not responding. Should they succeed, and does anybody know what it means? And who?
Shadow government, conspiracy, from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. This article is about conspiracy theories for opposition cabinets in parliamentary systems. See Shadow Cabinet. This article includes a list of references, but its sources remain unclear because it has insufficient inline citations. Please help to improve this article by introducing more precise citations. May 2011, learn how and when to remove this template message. The shadow government, cryptocracy, secret government, or invisible government, is a family of conspiracy theories based on the notion that real and actual political power resides not with publicly elected representatives, for example, the United States Congress, but with private individuals who are exercising power behind the scenes, beyond the scrutiny of democratic institutions. According to this belief, the official elected government is in reality subservient to the shadow government, who are the true executive power. Shadow government theories often propose that the government is secretly controlled by foreign elements, such as aliens or the Vatican, and Jesuits, internal minorities, such as the Jews, moneyed interests and central banks, or Freemasons, or globalist elites and supranational organizations, who seek to manipulate policy or conquer the world. History. Conspiracy-oriented literature postulates the existence.
Oh yeah, about legalizing the swastika where it's now banned. Well, what do you all think? The point was, could that lead to the alt-right gaining more power, etc., if they legalized the swastika? Or do you think that nobody wants to be a racist and a homophobe, etc.? Most people are too intelligent for that. And perhaps these so-called alt-righters are not really white nationalists or Nazis or right-wing radicals. They're just fake Jews that pretend they are alt-right or whatever, which is a term Hillary concocted. What do you all think? Please let me know in the comments if there's anything. I'd love to talk with people. I'm totally alone. So you can Skype me Prologic 999. Prologic 999 basically in numbers.
Of a secret government which is the true power behind the apparent government. Examples of such literature include works by Dan Smoot, William Guy Carr, Jim Marrs, Carol Quigley, Gary Allen, Alex Jones, Day Griffin, G. Edward Griffin, David K., and Michael A. Hoffman too. Some of these authors believe members of the secret government may represent or be agents for groups such as the Council on Foreign Relations, the Royal Institute for International Affairs, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, CIA and MI6 in cooperation with international banks and financial institutions such as the World Bank and the Bank for International Settlements. 1.
George Soros and Margaret Chan are committed of 300 subversive of the club of members. The goals of the committee of 300 we flattened two cards by means of but wars in the advanced countries by means of starvation and disease in the third world countries. The death of 3 billion people by the year 2050 people they call substances. The government is criminal, okay?
Grab him by the pussy.
I, Donald Trump, am going to stop spending money on the stupid fucking military and start spending for universal peace. George Soros.
David Cho.
The CDC did.
Don't let them touch you!
Also popularizing the idea was the hit U.S. television show, The X-Files. Milton William Cooper claimed that the shadow government was in cooperation with extraterrestrial aliens. His 1991 book Behold a Pale Horse, 4-5, influential among UFO and malicious circles. 6. Describes the doings of the secret world government and a variety of other covert activities associated with the Illuminati's declaration of war upon the people of America. 7. Cooper claimed to have seen secret documents while in the Navy describing governmental dealings with aliens. Cooper linked the Illuminati with his beliefs that extraterrestrials were secretly involved with the U.S. government, but later retracted these claims.
So it is very likely that the CIA Vatican-controlled encyclopedia Wikipedia only writes about shills what shills have published and know any publicity is good publicity.
He accused Dwight D. Eisenhower of negotiating a treaty with extraterrestrials in 1954, then establishing an inner circle of Illuminati to manage relations with them and keep their presence a secret from the general public. Cooper believed that aliens manipulated and/or ruled the human race through various secret societies, religions, magic, witchcraft, and the occult, and that even the Illuminati were unknowingly being manipulated by them. 4.
Bill Cooper was shot. He may have been for real, perhaps he was not a shill.
Cooper described the Illuminati as a secret international organization, controlled by the Bilderberg Group, that conspired with the Knights of Columbus, Masons, Skull and Bones, and other organizations.
So perhaps it was about that. I am convinced that aliens do not exist on our planet. They made me say this.
Its ultimate goal, he said, was the establishment of a new world order. According to Cooper, the Illuminati conspirators not only invented alien threats for their own gain, but actively conspired with extraterrestrials to take over the world. 4.
So they have Project Bluebeam, a fake alien invasion to depopulate Earth. And they pretend the aliens want our resources and stuff. And to harvest our bodies, perhaps. And it leads to billions of dead people, and then they will free us from the fake aliens that they are themselves. Also, people have been kidnapped with alien masks on, and they may have the belief that they were really kidnapped by aliens.
Cooper believed that James Forrestal's fatal fall from a window on the 16th floor of Bethesda Hospital was connected to the alleged secret committee Mijdrecht 12, and that Jason Advisory Group scientists reported to an elite group of Trilateral Commission and Council on Foreign Relations Executive Committee members who were high-ranking members of the Illuminati. 8-9 in quotes, "The real menace of our republic is the invisible government, which like a giant octopus sprawls its slimy legs over our cities, states and nation." John Hylan, Mayor of New York City, 1922. "Behind the ostensible government sits enthroned an invisible government owing no allegiance and acknowledging no responsibility to the people." From the platform of President Theodore Roosevelt's Progressive Bull Moose Party. 10. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. Edward Bernays, the father of public relations, writing in his influential 1928 book Propaganda, 11. But quite frankly, there is an outside source which we refer to as the deep state or the shadow government. There is a lot of influence by people which are actually more powerful than our government itself, our president. Ron Paul, former U.S. Representative, November 2016, following Donald Trump presidential election win. Mijdrecht 12. In UFO conspiracy theories, Mijdrecht 12, or MJ-12, is the code name of an alleged secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials, formed in 1947 by an executive order by U.S. President Harry S. Truman to facilitate recovery and investigation of alien spacecraft. The concept originated in a series of supposedly leaked secret government documents first circulated by ufologists in 1984. Upon examination, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, declared the documents to be completely bogus, and many ufologists consider them to be an elaborate hoax. 1-2. Mijdrecht 12 remains popular among some UFO conspiracy theorists, and the concept has appeared in popular culture including television, film and literature.
So, flying saucers at Queen Maudland are real. You can see the entrances to their UFO saucer bases in Antarctica on Google Earth as well. Antarctica map, perhaps you can see it's not that clear. So these are supposed to be Nazi UFOs, the Vril and the Honeyboo. And I may have photographed sort of light reflection, and it has the shape of such a flying saucer. Really quite accurate. It's, I don't know if that's still on my page 999, ProLogic 999. It's also pretty mysterious. So I want it to read only this, not the HTTP. But it will probably read each HTTP as well. So it's 999 ProLogic 999.blog-to-blog.nl. Oh, this may be pretty interesting.
Surviving the future. The Dulce facility consists of a central hub, the security section, also some photo labs. The deeper you go, the stronger the security. This is a multi-leveled complex. There are over 3,000 cameras at various high-security locations, exits and labs. There are over 100 secret exits near and around Dulce, many around Archuleta Mesa, others to the south around Dulce Lake and even as far east as Mijdrecht. Deep sections of the complex connect into natural cavern systems. A person who worked at the base, who had an ultra 7 inches clearance, reports, there may be more than 7 levels, but I only know of 7. Most of the aliens are on 5, 6, 7 levels. Alien housing is level 5. 21st century power, biotech. We are leaving the era of expendable resources, like oil-based products. The power of the future is renewable resources, biologically engineered. The Dulce genetic research was originally funded under the cloak of black budget secrecy. Billions dollar. They were interested in intelligent, disposable biology, humanoids. To do the dangerous atomic, plutonium, rocket and saucer experiments, we cloned our own little humanoids, via a process perfected in the Biogenetic Research Center of the World, Los Alamos. Now we have our own disposable slave race. Like the alien Greys, EBs, the U.S. government clandestinely impregnated females, then removed the hybrid fetus, after 3 months.
Biogenetic, DNA manipulation. Programming is then instilled there, implanted and controlled at a distance through RF.
We cloned our own little humanoids via a process perfected in the Biogenetic Research Center of the World, Los Alamos. Now we have our own disposable slave race. Like the alien Greys, Ebes, the US government clandestinely impregnated females, then removed the hybrid fetus, after 3 months, and then accelerated their growth in the lab. Biogenetic, DNA manipulation, programming is then instilled, they are implanted, and controlled at a distance through RF, radio frequency, transmissions. Many humans are also being implanted, with brain transceivers. These act as telepathic channels, and telemetric brain manipulation devices. The network net was set up by DARPA, Advanced Research Project Agency. 2 of the procedures were RIC, radio hypnotic intercerebral control, and EDM, electronic dissolution of memory. The brain transceiver is inserted into the head through the nose. These devices are used in the Soviet Union and the United States, as well as Sweden. The Swedish Prime Minister Palme gave the National Swedish Police Board the right, in 1973, to insert brain transmitters into the heads of human beings covertly. They also developed ELF and M-wave propagation equipment, rays, which affect the nerves and can cause nausea, fatigue, irritability, even death. This is essentially the same as Richard Shaver's cavern telog, match. This research into biodynamic relationships within organisms' biological plasma has produced a ray that can change the genetic structure and heal. Shaver's cavern Ben match could heal. Level number 6 is privately called Nightmare Hall. It holds the genetic labs. Reports from workers who have seen bizarre experimentation are as follows. I have seen multi-legged humans that look like half human / half octopus. Also reptilian humans, and furry creatures that have hands like humans and cries like a baby. It mimics human words. Also a huge mixture of lizard humans in cages. There are fish, seals, birds and mice that can barely be considered those species. There are several cages, and vats, of winged humanoids, grotesque bat-like creatures, but 3.5 to 7 feet tall. Gargoyle-like beings and draco-reptoids. Level number 7 is worse, row after row of thousands of humans and human mixtures in cold storage. Here too are embryo storage vats of humanoids in various stages of development. I frequently encountered humans in cages, usually dazed or drugged, but sometimes they cried and begged for help. We were told they were hopelessly insane, and involved in high-risk drug tests to cure insanity. We were told to never try to speak to them at all. At the beginning we believed that story. Finally in 1978 a small group of workers discovered the truth. It began the Dulce Wars. And a secret resistance unit was formed. Note: there are over 18,000 aliens at the Dulce base. In late 1979, there was a confrontation over weapons. A lot of scientists and military personnel were killed. The base was closed for a while. It is currently active. Note: human and animal abductions, for their blood and other parts, slowed in the mid-1980s, when the Livermore Berkeley Labs began production of artificial blood for Dulce. William Cooper states, a clash occurred wherein 66 people, of our people, from the National Recon Group, the Delta Group, which is responsible for security of all alien-connected projects, were killed. The Delta Group, with an intelligence support activity, have been seen with badges which have a black triangle on a red background. Delta is the 4th letter of the Greek alphabet. It has the form of a triangle, and figures prominently in certain Masonic signs. Asterisk: each base has its own symbol. The Dulce base symbol is a triangle with the Greek letter tau within it, and then the symbol is inverted, so the triangle points down. Asterisk: the insignia of a triangle and 3 lateral lines has been seen on saucer, transport, craft, the trilateral symbol. Asterisk: other symbols mark landing sites and alien craft. http://www.thinkaboutit.com/underground/Americas_top_secret_bases.htm The deep dark secret at Dulce. Dulce is a sleepy little town in northern New Mexico of about 900 population located above 7,000 feet on the Jicarilla Apache Indian Reservation. There is only one major motel and a few stores. It's not a resort town and it is not bustling with activity. But, according to a few outsiders, Dulce harbors a deep, dark secret. The secret is harbored deep below the tangled brush of Archuleta Mesa. The secret is said to be a joint government alien biogenetic laboratory designed to carry out bizarre experiments on humans and animals. New Mexico State Police Officer Gabe Valdez was drawn into the mysteries of Dulce when called to investigate a mutilated cow in a pasture 13 miles east of Dulce on the Manuel Gomez Ranch. Gomez had lost 4 cattle to mutilations between 1976 and June 1978 when a team of investigators which included Tom Adams arrived from Paris, Texas to examine the site of the carcasses. Curious as to how cattle were being selected by the mysterious mutilators, an interesting experiment was conducted on July 5, 1978 by Valdez, Gomez, and retired scientist Howard Burgess. They pinned up about 120 of the Gomez beef cattle and moved them through a squeeze chute under an ultraviolet light. They found a glittery substance on the right side of the neck, the right ear, and the right leg. Samples of the affected hides were removed as well as control samples from the same animals. Sonnenfeld Clinical Laboratories in Albuquerque analyzed the samples and found significant deposits of potassium and magnesium. The potassium content was 70 times above normal. Some investigators attribute the mutilations to aliens from UFOs. UFOs have been seen frequently around Dulce. Sightings of strange lights and other aerial phenomena have been reported in many areas where the cows have been found at the time of the reported mutilation. On April 19, 1988, I arrived in Dulce to visit with Gabe Valdez and inquire about the sightings, the mutes, and the rumors of an underground alien base. Snow was still on the ground. I checked into the Best Western Motel and called Valdez to make an appointment to see me at 9:30 p.m. I found Gabe to be a very congenial host, offering to show me around the roads of Dulce that night and point out some various locations where he had found mutilated cows or had seen strange aerial lights. He made the astounding statement that he was still seeing unidentified aircraft at the rate of one every 2 nights. We took a look at the Gomez Ranch, the road by the Navajo River, and the imposing Archuleta Mesa. Gabe had found landing tracks and crawler marks near the site of the mutes, and was convinced that scientist Paul Beniewicz of Thunder Scientific Labs in Albuquerque was definitely on the right track in his attempts to locate the underground alien facility in the vicinity of Dulce. No one knew for sure where the facility was located or how humans or aliens gained secret entry to the facility. I had first heard of Paul Beniewicz in 1980 when my friend Walter called me from Albuquerque and told me he had been working with Paul on electronic instruments. Walter informed me that Paul had not only photographed UFOs, but had established a communication link with their underground base at Dulce. Beniewicz had first come to prominence during the August 1980 sightings over the Manzano weapons storage area at Kirtland Air Force Base. A Kirtland Air Force Base incident report dated October 28, 1980 mentions that Beniewicz had taken film of the UFOs over Kirtland. Paul, who was president of the Thunder Scientific Labs which was adjacent to Kirtland, gave a briefing in Albuquerque detailing how he had seen the aliens on a video screen. At the time, the aliens were transmitting signals to him from a base underneath Archuleta Mesa. Researcher William Moore claims that the government agents became interested in Beniewicz's activities and were trying to defuse him by pumping as much disinformation through him as he could absorb. Whether Paul's communication with supposed aliens at the Dulce base was part of this disinformation campaign is unclear. If we believe that Paul is the single source of reports on the Dulce facility, then discounting Paul's story and discrediting him could be a tactical maneuver. The actual disinformation maneuver would result in making the public believe there was nothing to the Dulce story. In a report entitled Project Beta, Paul states that he had spent 2 years tracking the alien craft. That he had constant reception of video from an alien ship and underground base view screen. That he had established constant direct communications with the aliens using a computer and a form of hexadecimal code with graphics and printout. and claims to have used aerial and ground photography to locate the alien ship's launch port's charged beam weapons. Paul claimed that the aliens were devious, employed deception, and did not adhere to agreements. He and Walter were working on a weapon that would counter the aliens. Have we crossed over from the land of the real world to the land of science fiction? But then, bizarre phenomena may have its roots in a bizarre reality. As we continue our studies, the world of science fiction will become the world of science fact. Paul Bennewitz have investigated the case of abductee Myrna Hansen of New Mexico, who reported having been taken to an underground facility in May 1980. Krista Tilton of Oklahoma claims she had an experience of missing time in July 1987, when she had been abducted by two small gray aliens and transported in their craft to a hillside location where she encountered a man dressed in a red military-type jumpsuit. She was taken into a tunnel through computerized checkpoints displaying security cameras. She reports having been taken on a transit vehicle to another area where she stepped on a scale-like device facing a computer screen. After the computer issued her an identification card, she was told by her guide that they had just entered level 1 of a 7-level underground facility. Krista goes on relating how she was eventually taken down to level 5, where she reports having seen alien craft and little gray alien entities in some of the areas that she passed through. In one large room where she saw computerized gauges hooked to large tanks and large arms that extended from some tubing down into the tanks. She noticed a humming sound, smelled formaldehyde, and had the impression that a liquid was being stirred in the tanks. She was not shown the contents of these tanks. Krista has made drawings of much of what she claims to have witnessed during her abduction. These tanks were also depicted in a set of controversial papers called the Dulce Papers, which were allegedly stolen from the Dulce underground facility along with over 30 black and white photos and a videotape. The mysterious security officer who took the papers claims to have worked at Dulce until 1979 when he decided that the time had come to part company with his employers. The rest of this chapter relates how this security officer met with a colleague of mine in order to tell us the truth about the aliens, the U.S. government, and the Dulce base. His intention was to come out of hiding and present hard evidence to back his claims. In late 1979, Thomas C. could no longer cope with the awesome reality he had to confront. As a high-level security officer at the Joint Alien U.S. government underground base near Dulce, he had learned of and had seen disturbing things. After much inner conflict, he decided to desert the facility and take various items with him. Using a small camera, he took over 30 photos of areas within the multi-level complex. He collected documents and removed a security videotape from the control center which showed various security camera views of the hallways, labs, aliens, and U.S. government personnel to take with him. Then, by shutting off the alarm and camera system in one of the over 100 exits to the surface, he left the facility with the photos, video, and documents. The originals were hidden after 5 sets of copies were made. Thomas was ready to go into hiding. But, when he went to pick up his wife and young son, he found a van and government agents waiting. His wife and child had been kidnapped. He had been betrayed by Kay Lobus, a fellow worker. The agents wanted what Thomas had taken from the facility in order to get his wife and son back. When it became apparent to him they would be used in biological experiments and were not going to be returned unharmed, he decided to get lost. That was over 10 years ago. How did Thomas get involved in all this covert intrigue? Thomas, now in his 50s, was in his mid-20s, when he received top-secret training in photography at an underground facility in West Virginia. For 7 years he worked in high-security photography in the Air Force. In 1971, he left and went to work for the Rand Corp in Santa Monica, California. In 1977 he was transferred to the Dulce facility. He bought a home in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and worked Monday through Friday. He commuted to work via a deep underground tube shuttle system. At this time, a fellow researcher was working security in Santa Fe, and was privately investigating UFO sightings, animal mutilations, Masonic and Wicca groups in the area. Thomas had a mutual friend who came to Santa Fe in 1979 to visit both the researcher and Thomas. This visitor later viewed the photos, the videotape, and documents taken from the dull space. Drawings were made from what was seen and later circulated in the UFO research community as the Dulles Papers. Thomas alleges that there were over 18,000 short grays at the Dulles facility, and that he saw reptilian humanoids. A colleague had come face to face with a 6-foot-tall reptoid which had materialized in his house. The reptoid showed an interest in research maps of New Mexico and Colorado which were on the wall. The maps were full of colored push pins and markers to indicate sites of animal mutilations, caverns, locations of high UFO activity, repeated flight paths, abduction sites, ancient ruins, and suspected alien underground bases. The multi-level facility at Dulles is reported to have a central hub which is controlled by base security. The security level goes up as one descends to lower levels. Thomas had an Ultra 7 clearance. He knew of 7 sublevels, but there may have been more. Most of the aliens supposedly are on levels 5, 6 and 7 with alien housing on level 5. The only sign in English was over the tube shuttle station hallway which read to Los Alamos. Connections go from Dulles to the Page, Arizona facility, then on to an underground base below Area 51 in Nevada. Tube shuttles go to and from Dulles to facilities below Taos, NM. Datal, NM. Colorado Springs, Colorado. Cream, Colorado. Sandia, then on to Carlsbad, New Mexico. There appears to be a vast network of tube shuttle connections under the U.S. which extends into a global system of tunnels and subcities. At the Dulles base, most signs on doors and hallways are in the alien symbol language and a universal symbol system understood by humans and aliens. Thomas stated that after the second level, everyone is weighed in the nude, then given a uniform. Visitors are given off-white uniforms. Jumpsuits with a zipper. The weight of the person is put on a computer ID card each day. Any change in weight is noted. If over 3 pounds, a physical exam and X-ray is required. Scales are located in front of all sensitive areas and are built into the floor near doorways and the door control panels. An individual places his computer ID card into the door slot, then enters a numerical code onto a keypad. The person's weight and code must match the card or the door will not open. Any discrepancy will summon security. No one is allowed to carry anything into sensitive areas. All supplies are put on a conveyor belt and X-rayed. The same method is used in leaving sensitive areas. All elevators are controlled magnetically. There are no elevator cables. The magnetic system is inside the walls of the elevator shaft. There are no normal electrical controls. Everything is controlled by advanced magnetics, including lighting. There are no regular light bulbs and the tunnels are illuminated by phosphorus units with broad structureless emission bands. Some deep tunnels use a form of phosphorus pentoxide to temporarily illuminate areas. The aliens won't go near these areas for reasons unknown. Level 1 contains the garage for street maintenance. Level 2 contains the garage for trains, shuttles, tunnel boring machines and disk maintenance. The studies on Level 4 include human aura research, as well as all aspects of telepathy, hypnosis, and dreams. Thomas says that they know how to separate the bioplasmic body from the physical body to place an alien entity, life force matrix within a human body after removing the soul, life force matrix of the human. Level 6 is privately called Nightmare Hall. It holds the genetic labs, where experiments are done on fish, seals, birds, and mice that are vastly altered from their original form. There are multi-armed and multi-legged humans in several cages, and vats of humanoid bat-like creatures as tall as 7 feet. The aliens have taught the humans a lot about genetics. Things both useful and dangerous. The grading reptoid species are highly analytical and technologically oriented. They have had ancient conflicts with the Nordic humans from other space societies, and may be staging here for a future conflict. Intensely into computing and bioengineering sciences, They are led to doing reckless experiments without regard for what we consider to be ethical and empathetic conduct toward other living creatures. Principal government organizations involved in mapping human genetics, the so-called genome projects, are within the Department of Energy, which has a heavy presence on the Nevada test site, the National Institute of Health, the National Science Foundation, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, and, of course, the Dulce underground labs, which are run by the DOE. Thomas had revealed that the chief of the genetic experiments for Los Alamos and Dulce is Larry Devon. According to Thomas, the alien androgen breeder is capable of parthenogenesis. At Dulce, the common form or reproduction is by polyembryony. Each embryo can, and does divide into 6 to 9 individual pronounced cuni, i.e. siblings. The needed nutriment for the developing cun is supplied by the formula, which usually consists of plasma, deoxyhemoglobin, albumin, lysozyme, cation, amniotic fluid and more. The term genome is used to describe the totality of the chromosomes unique to a particular organism, or any cell within an organism, as distinct from the genotype, which is the information contained within those chromosomes. The human genes are mapped to specific chromosomal locations. This is an ambitious project that will take years and a lot of computer power to accomplish. Is the alien and human biotech being used to nurture and serve us, or is it being used to control and dominate us? Why have UFO abductees been used in genetic experiments? It was when Thomas encountered humans in cages on level 7 of the Dulce facility that things finally reached a climax for him. Row after row of thousands of humans, human mixture remains, and embryos of humanoids were kept in cold storage. He says, I frequently encountered humans in cages, usually dazed or drugged, but sometimes they cried and begged for help. We were told they were hopelessly insane, and involved in high-risk drug tests to cure insanity. We were told to never speak to them at all. At the beginning we believed that story. Finally in 1978 a small group of workers discovered the truth. That began the Dulce Wars. Thomas also says the aliens don't want the land, the gold, the minerals, or the water that we possess, nor even the human or animal life. What they do want is magnetic power that surges on and through the earth. The aliens harvest this magic power in a way unknown to us. Thomas says the aliens recognize this power as more valuable than any other commodity on our globe. It may be unpalatable to digest or believe Thomas' story. In fact, it seems like part of a living nightmare. There is evidence that something strange does go on at Dulce. Does Thomas have the answer? There may be a terrible truth hidden behind the continuing phenomena of UFO sightings, abductions, and animal mutilations. Our government intelligence agencies have had an ongoing watchful eye on all UFO activities for many decades now. This extraordinary phenomenon must have an extraordinary explanation. We may be only one outpost in a vast interstellar empire. Recently, researcher John Anderson went to Dulce, NM, to see if there was any truth to the reported UFO activity. He says as he arrived in town he saw a caravan of cars and a McDonnell Douglas mini-lime and a van going up a rural road near the town. He followed them to a fenced-in compound where he waited to see further developments. Suddenly, 6 UFOs descended rapidly over the compound, hovered long enough for him to snap a picture, then shot up and out of sight. When later stopping at a store, he told the owner about the UFO photo he had taken. The store owner listened and revealed how he had been a victim rancher of cattle mutes. Their conversation was interrupted by a phone call. The store owner told John to leave at once, then after John went to his car, he saw a mysterious van drive up to the store and a man got out and went inside. John, deciding to leave Dulce, was followed by 2 men in a car as he left town. Even more recently a research team has gone up to Archuleta Mesa to take soundings under the ground. Preliminary and tentative computer analysis of these soundings seem to indicate deep cavities under the mesa. How long will the secret of Dulce, known to insiders as Section D, remain locked up inside the mute New Mexico mountains? forever. http://www.thinkaboutit.com/underground/dulce_.htm. http: How many people know about the police provocateurs and that Anonymous is a CIA psyop to censor internet even more? Is it possible he is contributing unknowingly and just trying to do the right thing? See supercoolmail.blog.com for more information about and to see a video of the police provocateurs. At the moment I am unable to log into any blog.com website, though other websites are functioning like they always do. Strange that cashitpages.com does not have a copy of the website supercoolmail.blog.com like of some of my other websites that disappeared. See the YouTube video. Police dressed as civilians use violence to overthrow peaceful protests. To learn more about the police provocateurs, police officers dressed as rebellious citizens burning police cars and smashing windows to create a crisis big enough to impose their totalitarian global government on the people of planet Earth. To be read out with Anonymous Speech Engine. Greetings, superior beings. Greetings, Supreme Being. This is the real Anonymous. They know I'm just a fake CIA agent created for internet censorship that has to be fake opposition to Trump to make everyone support him. Talk that last bit of goodness that's left in them out of them, you know. It's okay to bomb innocent civilians with the terrorists of ISIS because we need to create more terrorists if we want to pull off this global government thing. Never mind that list of 6 Jewish people that want to depopulate the earth and that the mainstream media is owned by Jewish people. 90% of the MSM. I as Anonymous am not allowed to report about that nor about controlled opposition. Nor am I allowed to support the idea that we must regulate the influx of immigrants to prevent a crisis big enough to impose a totalitarian Luciferian global government upon the people of planet Earth or Sharia law or whatever. Nor to propel the idea that you have no choice. We are legion, don't make me laugh. How noble of me not to reveal my identity. You really got me. Of course they didn't really have that in mind, so I'll be okay. They know I'm not really anonymous anyway. I'm Kepstrel David and I do weed. But seriously. I support getting rid of real terrorists with direct energy but not the bombing of innocent civilians nor wars for cancer oil. I have to think of my good name here. Fuck all those retards that want to depopulate us. These people that lost their loved ones in the depleted uranium war crime and tactical nuke strikes in Syria are terrorists. And what are you then? Always remember to mistrust authority because people were rounded up and killed for questioning authority. So preventing the crisis and their depopulation is more important. We need 1. Moralization, 2. Stabilization, 3. Generate an economic search, 4. Demilitarization to take over the world ourselves instead of making the pedo elite our masters. Remember to boycott the mainstream media, Monsanto and anyone involved in illegally depopulating Earth. Trump said. We gotta go and we gotta knock the shit out of these people. I guess it's arrest, deport or kill. I agree with keeping ISIS from killing more innocent civilians whether real or fake, and this means preventing their next attack no matter where on Earth. Ceasefire. Universal peace now. No one will see this video anyway. Because they are not brain controlled. So you are not the resistance. You are no one. So it's sort of an ode to the real Anonymous. I hope he doesn't punish me too hard with his directed energy weapon. Anonymous endorsed Trump message for universal peace. Donald Trump on ISIS. I would bomb the shit out of them. YouTube, I support Trump's vision as long as no innocent civilians are hit. Use of directed energy weapons makes bombing obsolete and passe. You could argue. Predator drones are less accurate and obsolete as well, like the Talon robot army. They must have a good reason why these directed energy weapons are not utilized instead of bombs. Bombings can also be extremely accurate nowadays. I will not interfere with and support any decision the president will make. Doubt if they are gonna hang around. Perhaps go to a country. Use of directed energy weapons makes bombing obsolete and passe, you could argue. Predator drones are less accurate and obsolete as well, like the Talon robot army. They must have a good reason why these directed energy weapons are not utilized instead of bombs. Bombings can also be extremely accurate nowadays. I will not interfere with and support any decision the president will make. Doubt if they are gonna hang around. Perhaps go to a country where you are not killed for leaving the Muslim faith. After all, religion is an illusion, to quote Freud. Religion is slavery for the mind, an abomination. President-elect Trump could be a mind-controlled slave like all the other recent presidents of the US with his own handler. They have to do whatever these Jesuits that control that beam want them to, because they can make you and they can break you. Because I care for future President Trump at least as much as I do for all people who have not tortured me, and I do not want to make the same mistake as with the previous two presidents. Blaming them for the directed energy weapon torture, but do it better from now on. I simply wrote this message. So I hope the American people unite and stop racism, homophobia and xenophobia, and do what is right for the future of the American people and the people of the world. Set the right example and be the best you can be. Be who you want to be. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Whatever. As long as it's for universal peace, it's a hot idea. Also, I hope to find and make new friends, especially single females, and be a positive influence on all people who have not tortured me and on the ones that have as well. Cancer chemtrail world. It's not like we're punching anybody in the face for real. LQIQ. Anonymous's Trump endorsement, please help exposing corruption, depopulation and maleficent plans to impose a totalitarian Luciferian global government upon the people of planet Earth. President-elect Trump's plan to regulate the influx of immigrants to prevent Phase 3 of active measures, aka ideological subversion, their plan to take over the world and enslave the human race, from being implemented may seem cruel, but letting in an unlimited amount of immigrants is treason, because it would be a blow to the country's economy it cannot handle at this point. And, you can call us crazy, but we love our fellow Americans so much that we do not want to see them blown up by jihadists. And remember something about an oath. Many Americans see the use of depleted uranium in Iraq and the use of tactical nukes in Syria as a war crime and feel their government does not represent them at all. They think their tax money is abused to depopulate Earth, and they want to end or audition the Fed, Google or anonymous search engine. They think previous leaders have given the US a bad name with their wars for cancer oil, and they want to make America great again. Please support them for universal peace. Classified. Their programming is always to make me look bad and themselves look good.
Universal peace now.
Many people let peace and love rule and do healing things. Wise. Pro-logic means for logic. President-elect should be moved to anonymous location with security. Why I support Trump. I am now convinced the Earth is oblong or spherical, all shaped because of the video. Flat Earthers prove Earth is a sphere. 180,616 views, likes 3,978, dislikes 2,299, 20161115. Ear Trumpet for Windows 10. If you want, you can also use a freeware called Ear Trumpet, that offers you a smarter way to control the volume for each individual program. Non-jihadi Muslims are kafirs who must be killed. Islam Watch. IslamWatch.org. The Prophet killed bad Muslims who had refused to join his jihadi war. Our good Muslim brothers in Pakistan are emulating this sunnah. The Quran 2:216 clearly says fighting in jihad war is ordained for Muslims. Fighting jihad and killing kafar for Allah is ordained for you. It is in your best interest even if you hate it. Any Muslim disobeying this order of Allah for waging jihad against the kafirs is to be punished because he is a kafir. Quran 9.38. You who believe. What is the matter with you, that when you are asked to march forth for jihad for Allah, you cling heavily to the earth. Quran 9.39. If you will not go forth to fight in the cause of Allah, you will be given a painful punishment. It is the duty of a Muslim to kill kuffar. 9.5 Kill kuffar wherever you find them. Mashallah, true Muslims of Pakistan are conducting jihad on Kafir Muslims. See it in this video. Quran says Muslims fighting and shedding the blood of non-Muslims is not a sin when compared with eternal sin of non-Muslims not believing in Islam. 81% of U.S. mosques promote violent jihad against non-Muslims. 24 reasons to challenge Islamophobia. So now the 1% is rounded up instead of the 99%. Islamotopia. Islamophobia does not exist like God does not exist. It is not Islamophobia because it is not an irrational fear since Muslims have to kill whole non-believers. Non-believers should be killed. Deuteronomy 13:6-10 wrongs. Islam and Christianity do not make a right. The Quran contains at least 109 verses that call Muslims to war with non-believers for the sake of Islamic rule. Some are quite graphic, with commands to chop off heads and fingers and kill infidels wherever they may be hiding. Muslims who do not join the fight are called hypocrites, and warn that Allah will send them to hell if they do not join the slaughter. religionofpeace.com. And fight them until there is no more fitna, disbelief and worshipping of others along with Allah, and worship is.
I have to interrupt Anonymous here for a while with my standard story during every broadcast. Don't let them play you out against each other and kill the creepy elitist murderers that deserve to be punished. Also, according to these religious laws, you may not redeem a murderer from the death penalty for money. You may not convict anyone without a fair trial, but Abraham stood up and slew the Egyptian. But that's just the incest Bible, basically. That is not the Quran with the 164 jihad verses. However, if you don't want to lower yourself to their level, then the idea is to attempt to do it to the people that are responsible, not innocent civilians of the other country, because lots of those are against what's happening, and the government have even made decisions that were not supported by a majority of the American people. So that's undemocratic, and their plutocracy if running for president takes a lot of money. So they always pretend to be a democracy or whatever. Lately they've been called more capitalist stooges instead of communist stooges or whatever from the Kubrick movie. You are under hypnosis to create universal peace and love yourself and your fellow humans. And you learn to control the 7 factors that control aging. You start experimenting on stuff. Especially doctors. I hope that more people try to control these 7 factors that control aging. Also time travel technology and other technology. Also chemical cancer causing drugs. If it makes these animals live 3 times longer, then it might also work on humans. And perhaps they're not chemical cancer causing drugs, perhaps they have improved their ways. They know more about it, what affects humans negatively and what is positive. But I doubt it. Police provocateurs, the character of David Bowie. It's going a bit fast, you can pause it and rewind. And the fascist flag is still in Congress. 2.5 million people mistake. Native American Indian Holocaust may have been the biggest, and the Holodomor, etc. Holodomor, I don't know. Anyway, history forgery, to look at who's the dictator. To find out who's the dictator, you have to look at what is censored. So this is an older picture show. I like the newer one better, I think. I don't know if that's this one, and I made another one. The Soros slideshow. So it's good to keep in mind that there are real anonymouses out there, and they may have prevented World War and a lot of other things in reality. That not all anonymouses are CIA attempting to crack down on the internet. They're not all hackers, etc. And it's based on Guy Fawkes. I don't know if there was a Jesuit as well. Remember the list. George Soros is funding nearly 200 organizations to attack America. Saving the maximum number of human lives. You may break any commandment to save a human life, except 3 cardinal sins, they say. And they call it pikuach nefesh. Oh, I forgot to read that liberal billionaire funds Ferguson protests, hopes to spur civil action. Soros funnels 33 million to groups leading demonstrations. In reality, it's to destroy countries, to give power to the pedo, the Jesuits and Freemasons, instead of power to the people, centralization instead of decentralization. That's what lots of people claim. To create a crisis big enough to impose the totalitarian global government upon people, the George Soros' EU superstate, ruling the world from Brussels may just be a stepping stone to their totalitarian global government. The main obstacle to a stable and just world order is the United States. This idea happens to coincide with the prevailing opinion in the world. George Soros quote, "I'm going to bring down the United States by funding black hate groups. We'll put them into a mental trap and make them blame white people. The black community is the easiest to manipulate." George Soros, September 2014 interview with Germany's Bild. Bild. Is all in Bilden, ja. I'm George Soros. I'm funding Antifa via the Tides Foundation to the Alliance for Global Justice. I'm going to bring down the United States by funding black hate groups. We'll put them into a mental trap and make them blame white people. The black community is the easiest to manipulate. George Soros interview with Germany's Bild, September 2014. Wow. Say something in an interview and then they blow it up. From your president's #1 donor and advisor, destroying America will be the culmination of my life's work. George Soros, aka Georgie Schwartz. Destroying America. Let me read this. Is it a real quote? Others have talked about this, Rockefeller supposedly. So that is in conflict with the constitutional oath the American people have taken to protect the USA against all enemies, foreign and domestic, from the outside and from the inside, any enemies to the United States. So they have to either get help from the government with that, or they have to do it themselves. This white billionaire liberal Democrat George Soros spent $33 million to incite black hoodlums to riot in Ferguson and nationwide. Michael Rear or something? I don't know. Cannot really read it very well. It's not a very clear picture. So that was the George Soros slideshow. Then we can turn back to basic. I was searching on something else. What did I search on page in this article? Let's see what we find.
Theory. Saying the alt-left and alt-right are fringe groups and they are wrong is saying all left and right groups are fringe groups and wrong. Alt-left and
This could be false, but theory, saying the alt-left and alt-right are fringe groups and they are wrong is saying all left and right groups are fringe groups and wrong. Alt-left and alt-right are simply a concentrated form of the left and right. This could be false. Both alt-left and alt-right are associated with violence and civil disobedience now. What we are seeing on our monitors may not be the real alt-left and alt-right but people paid by Soros-funded groups to demonstrate and police provocateurs dressed as civilians burning cancer-causing detonatorless police cars and smashing windows. In reality both of these fictional sides are Jesuit-controlled, so there is no left and no right. It's just an illusion to play people out against each other to depopulate Earth and roll in their totalitarian global government. That's more important. The deep state does not exist, bleep. All left and all right, lol. Thinking about making new hospital appointment at different hospitals are slaughterhouses, doctors are depopulators, people haters. Hospitals are in the top 10 of main causes of death twice, prescription drugs, leading killer in the USA, misdiagnosis, medical errors, a leading cause of death. Dr. Harold F. Shipman, a Jewish doctor that killed over 400 of his patients, may not be the only doctor that murdered large amounts of patients.
If you don't believe anything you read, you'll be alright. And you all believe that. No.
The doctor of the AMC, Arnon Kater, is working with SciTech, a company involved with nanotechnology possibly tied to the DoD and HIMEMS, remotely controlled insects.
I have exaggerated certain things, so I disagree with some of my writings, but they are for the better, so to be on the safe side, basically. So I'm not wrongly accusing them, I hope. And if so, people can always Skype ProLogic999 on Skype.
Hybrid insect microelectric mechanical systems. This would be a top secret aka black project they are not allowed to talk about if it's real, and the doctors are directed by the neural network which tells them what to do and say and also controls their minds to a certain extent with synthetic telepathy. They are controlled with torture and hypnosis like everybody else. Especially people in the environment of targeted individuals are controlled. About 1 in 4 of us are Muslim, about 23.4% of us Jews, less than 0.2% of world population. JewishPress.com. Yet 90% of the mainstream media is supposedly owned by Jews, and Jews are overrepresented among the best paid jobs. Jews, less than 0.2% of world population. JewishPress.com. About 43% of the world's Jewish community lives in Israel. According to a study by Hebrew University's Professor Sergio Della Pergola, the global Jewish population reached 13.75 million in the past year, with an increase of 88,000 people. Israel's Maariv newspaper published excerpts of the study last week, reporting that 1 out of every 514 people in the world is Jewish, less than 0.2% of mankind. About 43% of the world's Jewish community lives in Israel, making Israel the country with the largest Jewish population. The Israeli Central Bureau of Statistics reported on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, 5,773, that the total population of Israel in 2012 grew to nearly 8 million. About 73% of the population is native-born. If you do not believe in any deity, you do not believe in the concept of a chosen people. I do not believe in being Jewish. I do not believe in the whole concept, and I think mutilating children, circumcision, should be made illegal. Most people believe Jews exist, and they believe in the lie that they are Jewish themselves. What I'm saying is, we should stop blaming old Jewish people and start blaming Jesuits and Masons and expose these people, the things they have done and their names. I'm struggling with 4K every day, lol. Does anyone the name of that track Dread Zone did at Brighton that has the greater than phrase I've been hypnotized repeated over a stonking beat? Have they greater than recorded it, and if so, where can I find it? It was Mendel, greater than sounds like Fight the Power. Try the Maximum EP, for Fight the Power 95. Proof ISIS is fake. Anonymous. We the people 1 year ago 453 views. Fake ISIS army of 7-footers. Fox News forced to admit video was fake. 1 Hamza H. Green, Slay Your Dragon 1 year ago 143 views. F1 No, Professor James Tracy PhD, ISIS are fake. Stop funding Israel 1 year ago 34,448 views. Proof that CNN is ISIS. Endless examples of fake news on CNN. Mike Cernovich 2 weeks ago 38,524 views. ISIS is so fake. Green screen terrorism. Ace captive 2 months ago 1,210 views. ISIS propaganda. 540 million paid to Bell Pottinger or firm for fake ISIS videos. Nico Clare 8 months ago 188 views. Russian leaked video proof. CR ISIS actors fake mess at 105 views. CNN is ISIS, MSNBC is ISIS, Fox is ISIS. Fake news. Syria edition. PT2 dissenters 601 views. New. She blinded me with Zion's 0 gravity plane. Lunadiddle interval for Zandvoort is 1610, for Scheveningen 334. Calculated using Mijdrecht as location. Leaving daylight savings time off using lunitidaleinterval.com. High tide in Scheveningen is about 40 minutes earlier than in Zandvoort using jetage.rws.nl and zandvoort.bis/n/tidezebflood.php. Your real Sholami, Pati, anti-capitalist Da, Auschwitz. Our streets, Some 30 demonstrations have been announced before and during the meeting, organized by anti-globalization activists and environmentalists, trade unions, students and church groups. Late Thursday, police detained 6 people for throwing bottles at officers as about 11,000 protesters marched through Hamburg to techno music under the banner "I'd rather dance than G20, tractor wrangler Soros check bounced, trooper?" The Russians? Is 888 ? Ask yourself. Why did Merkel let them all in? I did it, Mir. Knights of Malta is no fraternal organization, has the likes of Reinhard Gehlen, Nazi, Joe Biden, David Rockefeller, Bush, Clinton. July 17, 2012. Groucho Marx said, "Please accept my resignation. I don't care to belong to a club that would have me as a member." You really have to wonder what kind of person, though, would care to belong to a club, or fraternal organization, as Alex dismissed the Knights of Malta as, that boasts a membership that is a who's who throughout history of elite intelligence agents, and architects of the New World Order. Wonder, if you truly are a liberty-loving American, anyways, would you care to be in a club, Knights of Malta, in which you would be breathing the same air as the likes of grave robber of Geronimo's remains, Prescott Bush, posthumous, Skull and Bones, George H.W. Bush, Skull and Bones, Bill Clinton, David Rockefeller, Reinhard Gehlen, posthumous, Nazi intelligence chief brought to the U.S. in Operation Paperclip, and maintained free reign over his own intelligence organization in the U.S. William Casey, Michael Chertoff, Tony Blair, Wild Bill Donovan, CIA founder Alan Dulles, CIA founder, and fired from CIA by J.F. Kennedy before his assassination Joe Biden, William Randolph Hearst, Robert Zoellick, Heinrich Himmler. Nazis didn't wear Maltese crosses on their uniforms randomly. Henry Kissinger, Henry Luce, Time Magazine, Skull and Bones, Lord Christopher Walter Monckton, Al. Knights of Malta. Pat Buchanan, Alex Regular, August Pinochet Oliver North, Antonin Scalia Amschelmeyer von Rothschild, George Tenet J. Edgar Hoover, Fritz Tyson, primary funder of the Nazi movement, and Frank Sinatra. Well, anyways, I could probably chill with Frank, if he was still around. They completely give up their own will, and pledge to be as obedient as a corpse to the Pope. Creepy, huh? Planet.infowars.com. The truth is, the Jesuits of Rome have perfected Freemasonry to be their most magnificent and effective tool, accomplishing their purposes among Protestants. John Daniel, in The Grand Design Exposed, 1999, p. 302, n.wikiko.org/wiki/Freemasonry. Events from the year 1776 in the United States. This year is celebrated in the United States as the official beginning of its nationhood, with the Declaration of Independence issued on July 4. Wiki/1776_in_the_United_States, Freemasons in Law Enforcement, Deadly Tools of the Jesuits. JohnAsirasi.com, CBGFABDE, HINDILMNOP. Vatican police break up homosexual orgy at home of key advisor to Pope Francis. Daily Stormer.com. The global depopulation and torture conspiracy as it has been and is, essential monotheism. Are they trying to blame deaths and cancer caused by radiation and directed energy weapons on bread and potatoes because they are eaten by most people? German police used water cannon and pepper spray to disperse anti-capitalist protesters after clashes with police broke out in Hamburg just as world leaders, including Donald Trump, Xi Jinping, and Recep Tayyip Erdogan, started to arrive in Germany's second city for the G20 summit. They are too lazy for a pro-capitalist demo? The annual summit, which consists of a series of formal and informal meetings between world leaders, often results in protests by advocacy groups calling for change on a variety of topics such as environmental policies, trade deals and labor laws. Why do the events attract protests? The protests center around an idea of corporate greed and anti-capitalist views, Kulik said. Tax-exempt corporations, Anne Frank, Sinatra. Then you are a part of the 100%, two-state solution versus multiculturalism. You have been sending too many messages. Take a break and try again. G20, that's too old. Hawaii Kiki Satirish. Not all punks are gay or lesbo, most are not. Always about Jews, Muslims, blacks, gays, never about Jesuits, but perhaps they are just kidding. Hypercorrect? I am a wannabe punk basically, but doing my hair every day takes too much time. The computer is the answer. Muslim author, activist who called for jihad against Trump is using Muslim Brotherhood playbook. Fox News Insider 14 hours ago. Rep. Adam Kinzinger. Syria crisis could lead to Iran-Israel war. Washington Examiner June 28, 2017. So an agreement that would make it forbidden for Israel and Iran's allies to intervene or help Israel and Iran if they go to war with each other to prevent a world war is out of the question, I suppose. There were people in the YouTube chat that thought all people are a cancer upon the earth, and I wrote, if you think all humans are a cancer upon the earth, why don't you kill yourself? I think they did not have an answer, or I missed it. Cardinal George Pell returns to Australia to face historical sex abuse charges. Then allegations surfaced that he had sexually abused minors himself, beginning early in his priesthood and continuing until he became Archbishop of Melbourne. SMH.com.au The Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse has previously said that from 1980 to 2015, more than 4,000 Australians made allegations of child sexual abuse involving Catholic institutions, and that 7% of Catholic priests were accused of sexually abusing children from 1950 to 2010. New York Times. There might be up to 10 alleged victims, Australian news website news.com.au reports, adding that they were minors at the time of the alleged assaults and are now aged from their late 20s to their early 50s. The allegations are believed to stretch from the time that Bell was a priest in the Australian town of Ballarat to when he was Archbishop of Melbourne. It is alleged that the cardinal groomed boys at a swimming pool in Ballarat in the 1970s and committed sexual assaults at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Melbourne, according to the Australian. According to the investigation, since the 1950s some 7% of priests in the country were alleged perpetrators. The Commission also said that since the 1980s, the Catholic Church has paid over $200 million to victims of alleged sex abuse committed by priests in Australia over decades. Since 2014, Pell has lived in the Vatican. ZeroHedge.com. Cardinal George Pell raped little boys. Sexual abuse charges. YouTube video. Hackers are hiding computer viruses in film subtitles to take control of devices. Newsweek.com. A patent doesn't require a proof that the idea works. Quora.com. From the Is There Such Thing as a Black Noise Bomb? Article. Is this true? That a patent doesn't require proof that the idea works? The patent law specifies that the subject matter must be useful. The term useful in this connection refers to the condition that the subject matter has a useful purpose and also includes operativeness, that is, a machine which will not operate to perform the intended purpose would not be called useful, and therefore would not be granted a patent. Natural frequency is the frequency at which a system tends to oscillate in the absence of any driving or damping force. Eigenfrequenz resonant frequency, the on your Facebook, teen. Say what you meme. It's all about meme, pantomime. Bin Laden and ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi are still alive. They are CIA operatives and their real names are Tim Osman and Simon Elliott. Of course their identity has been changed and the CIA-controlled mainstream media pretends they are dead.
So MAME is multiple arcade machine emulator.
They may have undergone facial surgery to change their look completely and or have shaved off their beard. All-seeing AI. After the execution of the Ottoman officials, Vlad gave orders in fluent Turkish to the commander of the fortress of Giurgiu to open the gates, enabling the Wallachian soldiers to break in the fortress and capture it. He invaded the Ottoman Empire, devastating the villages along the Danube. He informed Matthias Corvinus about the military action in a letter on February 11, 1462. He stated that more than 23,884 Turks and Bulgarians had been killed at his order during the campaign. Wiki/Vlad_the_Impaler. List of serial killers by number of victims. Wikipedia Top 3. Luis Garavito, Colombia. Proven victims 138. Possible victims 172. 300 plus. Child murderer, torture killer. Hungary. Soros says not accepting infinity non-whites is like the Holocaust. The Americans have taken an oath to protect their country against enemies foreign and domestic. People that want to destroy the U.S. are enemies guilty of treason, whether it's to create a global government or for some other reason. The person who uses his wealth, power, influence and a network of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, funded by him to settle millions of migrants in Hungary and the European Union puts our future in jeopardy, Orban wrote. The billionaire speculator George Soros has made it quite clear repeatedly that this is precisely what he wants to do, he said. I do support Orban's stated positions with regards to Soros and migrants, but I do not support Orban. Orban is an EU shill. While he is making all of these great statements, he is also continuing the process of EU federalization. Please read the Wikipedia page on EU federalization. Overwhelming Jew overrepresentation at CNN. DailyStormer.com/Ann Coulter. Hannes Holselo was right about Jew control of CNN. Andrew Anglin on Iconoclast Radio promoting race mixing and destruction of whites in 2012. media.christogenea.org/videos/Evalian/Anglin. Iconoclast Radio promoting race mixing. Shut IT down. Evalian under mass attack by YouTube faggots. Thefera.net May 17, 2016. The FBI defines mass murder as murdering 4 or more persons during an event with no cooling-off period between the murders. Both Hitler and Stalin were outdone by Mao Zedong. From 1958 to 1962, his Great Leap Forward policy led to the deaths of up to 45 million people, easily making it the biggest episode of mass murder ever recorded. WashingtonPost.com. Breivik, Anders Behring, 32 sentenced to 21 years in prison, killed 75 people. Freemason, The Shutting, Facebook and Google quietly moving towards secret auto-blocking of videos. DailyStormer.com June 26, 2016. Zog Zionist-occupied government. YouTube video, Jesuit Paolo Dall'Oglio the father.
So could it be that they are blocking access to my channel and blocking people from finding the videos? What did we just read? The shutting, Facebook and Google quietly moving towards secret auto-blocking of videos. Daily Stormer.com June 26, 2016. And then if I visit my channel, let's see. Because I've been getting an error, maybe it has to do with live broadcast, but I think not. It also occurs when I'm not live broadcasting, see? An error occurred, please try again.
An error occurred. Please try again.
So I'm not working my butt off for no reason, I hope. Okay. We continue the reading of the speech engine. I think. Let's see if that works.
Of ISIS, with fair use disclaimer. Islamic State in Syria.
So we can
Father
expect
Paolo
more ISIS
Dallaglio
attacks.
is alive and in Raqqa, according to ISIS defector October 21st, 2015, nibtimes.co.uk. China teleports quantum information
Washington
to space.
or
A first UPI.com 13/7/2017. Organized gang stalking. What you need to know. Convoy is a tactic of stalkers referring to the practice of a group of tailgating cars in front of the home of the victim. Vehicles used may be of the same color, and stalkers may honk the car horn or flash the car headlights as they pass. ASA organized.
So another idea is basically if ISIS is CIA and you have Alex Jones reporting about missing nukes, then that is a possible scenario basically. Or not.
Stalking informers. Facebook. Do it means do white in Dutch. Resource Monitor, a desktop app. Soros in trouble as Israel joins Hungary in declaring him a threat to humanity. The Alex Jones channel 46,999 views. John Doe, kill, or bees killed. In what location? Directory is Skype installed? The startup folder is now hidden in Windows 10 creators. c:/users/appdata/roaming/Microsoft/Windows/start menu/programs/startup. Sauerkraut funding and ZZZ pairs. Turkey's new school curriculum drops evolution and will teach concept of jihad. The Independent. The age of acquiescence, left. The sunshine, left. Action man Vladimir Putin is defined by his inaction on MH17. Australian.com.omh17 crash. Victims' families sue Putin and Russia. BBC News May 21, 2016. Liran Marit. MH17 is Jesuit false flag to undermine Putin and BRICS, protect Israel. Sparkwi. Donald Marshall. Fuck Alfred Lambremont Weber. The Thud Esquire. Somebody ask him why he sucks on cloned kids' asses at the cloning center, huh? Donald Marshall.proboards.com.
So it's clear that the Rothschilds and Rockefellers may also be involved in depopulating Earth. But I want to set straight that I have this video here, must see Rockefeller's secret torture with centipedes and directed energy weapons or whatever. It's not completely readable. Let's get this. And they are bankers, so I think that the agencies are doing it. So it's the Jesuits and intelligence agencies they control. Anonymous says kill members of secret societies before they kill us all. $216 views 3 years ago. So I think they're legally blocking views to my videos, and it's because of that error that occurs when I try to load my channel. Back to basic. Okay, then we can continue. Listen to this.
Alfred Weber admits to being AI, mind-controlled. The Tap blog tapnswire.com. Fuck the Windows anniversary update. Long live creators. Lemmings with wings. The Messiah. Canemo Lab. Crowdfucking. Dis-ass there. Tune 500 by whom and why are they for it? Why risk it when there are plenty of natural antibiotics such as garlic, turmeric, cayenne, manuka honey. Present no metal toxicity issues. The remarkable antibiotic nature of silver has been known for centuries. In the early 1900s, the founder of Searle Pharmaceuticals, Alfred Searle, wrote in his book The Use of Colloids in Health and Disease. Applying colloidal silver to human subjects has been done in a large number of cases with astonishingly successful results. It has the advantage of being rapidly fatal to microbes without toxic action on its host. It is quite stable. It protects rabbits from 10 times the lethal dose of tetanus or diphtheria toxin. They have a program to pretend of targeted individuals they are pedophiles instead of the Jesuits famous for their pedophilia and demolishing the WTC called Project Predator, highly speculative. HAARP Zion, Anglican Ashkenazi German Jew Zionist pig-fucking pedophile David Cameron supports sniper rifles being used against children. His support for Israel extremism is unshakable. HAARP Illuminatus Pied Piper HAARP pigfucker. Anglican Ashkenazi German Jew pedophile David Cameron had sex with a dead pig, bestiality necrophilia, as part of his Bullingdon Club initiation ceremony. David Cameron should now be investigated by the police for breaking the law under the Sexual Offences Act 2003 and if guilty removed from public office. Update rape. The Daily Mail is a Zionist newspaper who backed Hitler during the Second World War. Jewish Daily Mail editor Alex Brummer is an Orthodox Jew who follows the extreme satanic, according to Jews, Babylonian Talmud which teaches pedophilia, incest, bestiality, necrophilia and teaches that keeping slaves is acceptable as long as the slave is not a Jew. Eric Gill, pedophile TV network BBC is trying to force all households in UK to fund its operations even if you believe it should be shut down. BBC had prior knowledge of 9/11, covered up for Roman Catholic Satanist nepedophile Jimmy Savile and other pedophiles, is pro-pedophile and anti-victim, has pedophile art made by a man who raped his own daughters and family dog. The font it uses for the words BBC was made by a zoophile pedophile, is controlled by a Zionist Jew, is biased and pumps out propaganda. Now BBC chief wants a levy on every household. Director General throws weight behind idea to replace the license fee as it will raise more money. Anton LaVey the Zionist Jew Satanist George W. Bush German Jewish Satanist Henry Kissinger Jewish pedophilia.wordpress.com page 7 Sodomide, so they pay though their files. ISIL is advised by 2 American generals and is receiving airdrops of food, weapons and ammunition from C-130 cargo plane. Professor James Henry Fetzer said, Press TV, 2015, 10 feet equals 3.048 meters. Ray, Hyde, they are ruining everything for and slowly exterminating 93% of the world's global population with synthetic telepathy and directed energy weapons, wireless energy radiation beam weapons. Because they have Nikola Tesla's death ray they can kill people remotely and prevent others from creating their own weapons and they are untouchable and therefore people that attempt to press charges of directed energy weapon torture are labeled insane by the police without any psychiatric evaluation. Police.
Well, I thought if that were true, if they have these directed energy weapons they can kill people with, then they would have done it already if they want to depopulate to 500 million. So why haven't they done it yet? Because you have countries, and there are 15 scalar weapon countries, and some people would not allow that basically, but they are also monitoring their environment with scalar detector, scalar radar, that can make, they have 3D through the wall radar, the feed by rainbow of Alaska, and so they don't want to risk a world war. So that can be a reason they have not been able to do this yet, or perhaps they themselves have decided to change their mind or whatever.
Military, leaders and judges are all controlled with these 2 relatively new technologies. brain control with synthetic telepathy and torture with directed energy weapons. To do this they use FIPA, frequency-independent phased array antennas, through-the-wall radar. The only thing that can shield you against their attacks is a Tesla plasma shield, which is a visible shield of which there is only one picture on the internet. Most people are misled about the technology they have, not microwaves but wireless energy. And who is doing the brain control and radiation beam attacks? The main people doing the directed energy weapon torture are the Jesuits in control of the intelligence agencies, MI5, NSA, Mossad, AIVD, and they work with the Bilderbergers and Freemasons on depopulating Earth, tyrannizing and torturing people and enslaving humanity under a totalitarian global government. 4 items I bought on eBay from the seller Lonely_1978 have not arrived. The tracking number has disappeared and now the items have disappeared from my eBay summary. This has never happened to me before. Sometimes a seller is kicked off of eBay and the picture of the item disappears but the item is still listed in the eBay summary then. I have not received any explanation from eBay about how this could happen, just a weird email which looks like a spoof email because PayPal is spelled Aspel. The other strange thing is that there are 3 packages at the post office for which I did not receive a card to pick them up. No doubt that the perpetrators with synthetic telepathy and radiation beam torture weapons are behind all these packages not being delivered. At least it's clear they did not prevent the packages from not being delivered with it, nor did they prevent the ISIS attacks, dropping of depleted uranium and tactical nukes exploding in Syria with the relatively new technology. I thought alphabet agencies meant intelligence agencies, but it's not the same thing. The alphabet agencies, also New Deal agencies, were the U.S. federal government agencies created as part of the New Deal of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So FBI, CIA, NSA, MI5 and AIVD are not alphabet agencies. The Office of Censorship was an emergency wartime agency set up on December 19, 1941 to aid in the censorship of all communications coming into and going out of the United States. It closed in November 1945. Censorship is the suppression of speech, public communication, or other information that may be considered objectionable, harmful, sensitive, politically incorrect or inconvenient as determined by governments, media outlets, authorities or other groups or institutions. Wiki. The swastika is censored in the Netherlands and you can end up in jail for Holocaust denial. To find out who is the dictator, look at what is censored. History is written by the victor, not victors. We're the spies and your god, lol. Talking to the neural network is an option if there is no one else to talk to. It is scanning what you think anyway. Pain now, pain, oh. It's impossible to have a fair trial with the directed energy weapon torture technology and voice-to-skull technology on. The intelligence agencies are criminal to say the least, and controlled opposition is also right about the government being criminal as long as this technology is used by the agencies to control, depopulate and enslave the rest of the masses. Johnny, we war he. Donald Trump has made America $4 trillion richer in last 6 months. July 24, 2017 Daily Stormer. No is on backwards, yeah, come on, make some noise. EU court supports Austria on pushing back asylum seekers. Dr. Reich Tesla and Dr. Reich may all have been killed by the same Jesuits and their inventions are still stolen and suppressed by them to this day. Execute Jesuits, Bilderbergers and Freemasons, not the innocent civilians they want you to murder. Only if they have killed one or more people and are not brought to justice, since a fair trial is impossible because the judges and lawyers are controlled with the same directed energy weapons and brain controlled with synthetic telepathy. If depopulating Earth is not illegal, start with those trolls. Murdering innocent civilians is illegal, executing these murderers is not. There must be 100% certainty. It must be proven beyond any reasonable doubt the person is a murderer before you execute someone. Mask, timer, preparation, poisoned arrows. Best to do it alone. Aronians. What the frog? A new study says women will be having more sex with robots than men by 2050. Gestapatus, okay honey, now we do the RPG, DEFCON 1 girlfriend, the Pentagon. It's no wonder that he has already raised $10 million in funding for his organization, the Methuselah Foundation. As de Grey points out, gerontologists have discovered 7 biochemical causes of aging. The last cause was discovered in 1981, and considering how immensely far our knowledge of biology has come since that time, it seems quite likely that these 7 causes are all of them. De Grey calls these causes of aging the 7 deadly things. They are 1. Cell loss, 2. Death-resistant cells, 3. Nuclear DNA mutations, 4. Mitochondrial DNA mutations, 5. Intracellular junk, 6. Extracellular junk, and 7. Extracellular cross-links. That's it, cells, DNA, extracellular. If we find medicines or therapies that can clean up this damage, we could extend our lifespans to great lengths and achieve negligible senescence in humans. The flag of Germany is a tricolor consisting of 3 equal horizontal bands displaying the national colors of Germany: black, red, and gold. 1. The flag was first adopted as the national flag of modern Germany in 1919, during the short-lived Weimar Republic to 1933. The symbols of Imperial Germany became symbols of monarchist and nationalist protest and were often used by monarchist and nationalist organizations, for example Stalem, Bund der Frontsoldaten. This included the Reichskriegsflag, war flag of the Reich, which has been revived in the present for similar use. Many nationalist political parties during the Weimar period, such as the German National People's Party, see poster, and the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi Party, used the imperial colors, a practice that has continued today with the National Democratic Party of Germany. Nazi Germany and World War II, 1933–45. See also, Reichskriegsflag and List of German flags section. Nazi Germany 3–5 National Flag of Germany, 1933–35, jointly with the swastika flag. 3–5 National Flag of Germany and Marine Jack of Germany, 1935–45. After the Nazi Party seized power on January 30, 1933, the black-red-gold flag was swiftly scrapped. A ruling on 12 March established 2 legal national flags, the reintroduced black-white-red imperial tricolor and the flag of the Nazi Party. 31–32. On September 15, 1935, 1 year after the death of Reich President Paul von Hindenburg and Hitler's elevation to the position of Führer, the dual flag arrangement was ended, with the exclusive use of the Nazi flag as the national flag of Germany.
It may be a good idea, Jack of Germany. It's, but I'm not in Germany.
One reason may have been the Bremen incident of July 26, 1935, in which a group of demonstrators in New York City boarded the ocean liner SS Bremen, tore the Nazi Party flag from the jackstaff, and tossed it into the Hudson River. When the German ambassador protested, U.S. officials responded that the German national flag had not been harmed, only a political party symbol. 33. The new flag law, 34, was announced at the annual party rally in Nuremberg, 35, where Hermann Göring claimed the old black-white-red flag, while honored, was the symbol of a bygone era and under threat of being used by reactionaries. 36. The design of the Nazi flag was introduced by Hitler as the party flag in mid-1920, a flag with a red background, a white disc and a black swastika. Hakenkreuz, in the middle. In Mein Kampf, Hitler explained the process by which the Nazi flag design was created. It was necessary to use the same colors as Imperial Germany, because in Hitler's opinion they were revered colors expressive of our homage to the glorious past and which once brought so much honor to the German nation. The most important requirement was that the new flag should prove effective as a large poster, because in hundreds of thousands of cases a really striking emblem may be the first cause of awakening interest in a movement. Nazi propaganda clarified the symbolism of the flag. The red color stood for the social, white for the movement's national thinking, and the swastika for the victory of the Aryan peoples over the Jewry. 37. Several designs by a number of different authors were considered, but the one adopted in the end was Hitler's personal design. 38. Albert Speer stated in his memoirs that in only 2 other designs did he, Adolf Hitler, execute the same care as he did his Ober-Salzburg-Haus, that of the Reich war flag and his own standard of chief of state. 39. An off-centered disc version of the swastika flag was used as the civil ensign on German-registered civilian ships and was used as the Jack on Kriegsmarine, the name of the German Navy, 1933-45, warships. 40. The flags for use on sea had a through-and-through image, so the left-facing and right-facing version were each present on one side while the national flag was right-facing on both sides. 41. From 1933 to at least 1938, the Nazis sometimes sanctified swastika flags by touching them with the blood flag, the swastika flag used by Nazi paramilitaries during the failed beer hall putsch in 1923. This ceremony took place at every Nuremberg rally. It is unknown whether this tradition was continued after the last Nuremberg rally in 1938. At the end of World War II, the first law enacted by the Allied Control Council abolished all Nazi symbols and repealed all relevant laws. 42. The possession of swastika flags is forbidden in several countries since then, with the importation or display of them forbidden particularly in Germany. Report, Israel close to purchasing 3 nuclear submarines from Germany. www.post.com. October 21, 2016. Germany okays deal to sell nuke-capable submarines to Israel. The www.timesofisrael.com. Israel and the region, June 30, 2017. Navy to receive 3 more Dolphin-class vessels, in $1.3 billion deal overshadowed by corruption allegations surrounding Netanyahu. Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, with its first deliverable nuclear weapon allegedly created in December 1966, which would make it the 6th country in the world to have developed them. However, Israel has never officially denied nor admitted to having nuclear weapons, instead repeating over the years that it would not be the first country to introduce nuclear weapons to the Middle East. 16, 17, 18. Israel has also refused to sign the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT, despite international pressure to do so, saying that would be contrary to its national security interests. 19. Additionally, Israel has made extensive efforts to deny other regional actors the ability to acquire their own nuclear weapons. 11. The Counter-Proliferation, Preventive strike begin doctrine added another dimension to Israel's existing nuclear policy. Israel remains the only country in the Middle East believed to possess them. 11. Israel started investigating the nuclear field soon after its founding in 1948 and with French support secretly began building the Negev Nuclear Research Center, a facility near Dimona housing a nuclear reactor and reprocessing plant in the late 1950s. The first extensive details of the weapons program came in October 5, 1986, with news coverage of information provided by Mordecai Vanunu, a technician formerly employed at the Negev Nuclear Research Center. Vanunu was later kidnapped by the Mossad and brought back to Israel, where he was sentenced to 18 years in prison for treason and espionage. 2021. Current estimates put the size of the Israeli nuclear arsenal at between 80 and 300 nuclear warheads, 22, 23, 24, and it is believed that they have the ability to deliver them by via a range methods including aircraft, submarine-launched cruise missiles, and the Jericho 3 intermediate-range ballistic missile. Julius Robert Oppenheimer. Note 1, April 22, 1904, February 18, 1967, was an American theoretical physicist and professor of physics at the University of California, Berkeley. Oppenheimer was the wartime head of the Los Alamos Laboratory and is among those who are credited with being the father of the atomic bomb for their role in the Manhattan Project, the World War II undertaking that developed the first nuclear weapons used in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The first atomic bomb was detonated on July 16, 1945, in the Trinity test in New Mexico. Oppenheimer later remarked that it brought to mind words from the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Mutual assured destruction. Oppenheimer was born in New York City on April 22, 1904, 7, to Julius Oppenheimer, a wealthy Jewish textile importer who had immigrated to the United States from Germany in 1888, and Ella Friedman, a painter. Julius came to America with no money, no baccalaureate studies, and no knowledge of the English language. He got a job in a textile company and within a decade was an executive with the company. Ella was from Baltimore. 8. The Oppenheimers were non-observant Ashkenazi Jews. 9. In 1912 the family moved to an apartment on the 11th floor of 155 Riverside Drive, near West 88th Street, Manhattan, an area known for luxurious mansions and townhouses. 7. Their art collection included works by Pablo Picasso and Edouard Villaurd, and at least 3 original paintings by Vincent van Gogh. 10. Robert had a younger brother, Frank, who also became a physicist. Just take a look at the greatest Jewish minds ever, Marx, Freud, Einstein. What have they given us? Communism, infantile sexuality, and the atom bomb. Quote from The Believer film. Jewish privilege, being the biggest mass murderers in history, Armenian genocide, Irish famine, Holodomor, German genocide, Hellstorm. Picture posted in the comments of the Daily Stormer article. Vatican delegate, Holy See favors two-state solution in Holy Land Catholic culture. July 26, 2017. Sunday Times. Ireland fires columnist for questioning why BBC's highest-paid females are Jews. July 31, 2017. 69. MIT is lying about the fact that aluminum foil blocks microwaves. The shielding capacity of aluminum foil is demonstrated in my and other people's videos on YouTube. MIT, Raytheon band together for cybersecurity research Raytheon.com. So MIT is involved with the same people that made the directed energy torture weapons, Raytheon, Death Raytheon. Race, as a social construct, is the classification of humans into groups based on physical traits, ancestry, genetics, or social relations, or the relations between those groups. We are all the human race. Expose and stop depopulators. On I must, vaccine ate it, dope whore technologies. How about the humane centipede? D-Wave scam, the skeptical community skepticalcommunity.com. Just another way to quantum fuck the taxpayers dry, to create a crisis big enough to impose their totalitarian global government. The promise of QBZLV and quantum acceleration is to get all your money, and depopulate you, of course. Q equals Nata and B, banana equals not Bert and Ernie quantum cum shooting. Quantum cum shooting. My YouTube video awesome Sivaningjan panorama 720 degrees walk to the beach on the boardwalk and pier is working again. Bioengineered bulletproof skin made of human cells and spider silk. dailymail.co.uk. Bill Gates paralyzes 48,000 children in India in a single year then claims a cure for polio July 14, 2017 to 45 comments. Ways Bill Gates should die toasthightech.com/evil/killbill.html. Bill Gates warns of epidemic that could kill over 30 million people. Things that indicate that the ISS is fake. 1. Bubbles coming from the astronauts' suits, not Michael Jackson's monkey. 2. A partially invisible astronaut on NASA's own video, like the partially invisible. Writings for Universal Peace 2017. 3. We have to fight together for the sake of our destruction. Things that indicate that the ISS is fake. 1. Bubbles coming from the astronauts' suits, not Michael Jackson's monkey. 2. A partially invisible astronaut on NASA's own video, like the partially invisible Apollo moon landing hoax astronauts. 3. The cables they hang on in the zero-gravity plane to pretend they are in a weightless environment. Clinton says two-state solution would have entailed a lot of blood, gore, turmoil in Israel Middle East. Philip Weiss on March 13, 2017. See more at mondoist.net. Dulcet decorum estate, read here, on Wikisource, is a poem written by Wilfred Owen during World War I, and published posthumously in 1920. The Latin title is taken from the Roman poet Horace and means it is sweet and honorable, followed by pro patria mori, which means to die for one's country. There is no honor in fighting your fellow humans. Last of the emoji cams. Water-powered car Danny Klein patent. If meteors can fall from the sky unpredicted and a man in India can be killed by a meteor impacting India, then what do we have NASA for? Google searches for WW3 hit highest ever peak. Google searches for the term World War III have hit the highest ever level as a result of the Trump administration's escalation in Syria and North Korea. Google Trends illustrates how the number of searches for the term in recent days dwarfs the last peak in November 2015. Related search queries include Syria War, Trump World War III and Syria World War III, which is also attracting the highest search interest ever recorded. Infowars.com via birdflu666.wordpress.com. Why can't a U-2 spy plane go into space, like, fly to the moon? U-2 spy plane can fly at 70,000 feet, 21,336 meters, about 21 kilometers they claim is its maximum height. Why can't U-2 fly into space? Air too thin? U-2 pilots are astronauts, aren't they? Van Allen belts. Earth's two main belts extend from an altitude of about 1,000 to 60,000 kilometers above the surface, in which region radiation levels vary. The Earth's atmosphere limits the belt's particles to regions above 200 to 1,000 kilometers, while the belts do not extend past 8 Earth radii. The belts are confined to a volume which extends about 65 degrees on either side of the celestial equator. The total radiation received by the astronauts varied from mission to mission but was measured to be between 0.16 and 1.14 rads, 1.6 and 11.4 milligrays, much less than the standard of 5 rem, 50 millisieverts, per year set by the United States Atomic Energy Commission for people who work with radioactivity. Wiki/Van_Allen_radiation_U_belt. So, if the wiki article is correct, people can easily pass through the Van Allen belts in a spaceship or rocket like the one they used, so the Van Allen belt cannot be a reason. The money alone, $150 billion for the I-South station, would be enough reason for many people to fake it like they did. There may be other reasons we have not been told about, like hiding certain flying saucer technologies from the people of planet Earth, like artificial gravity, technology to make objects invisible by bending light, anti-gravity technology, and even time travel and cloaking technology. The hoax is allegedly perpetrated by Freemasons that you can see making their Masonic handshakes in space. This way they hope to keep an advantage over the people. They see it as a rat race, to depopulate and enslave humanity. Because my right to press charges of incitement to commit genocide against people with book quotes and Georgia Guidestones that proof they want to depopulate the earth, which is, in fact, not overpopulated at all, was illegally refused by the police, who would not list my charges. I consider this more important and thus do not give them the benefit of the doubt. This is why I left out the idea that the technology is hidden from the people for safety reasons, which may be an idea the neural network may plant in our brain with synthetic telepathy to mislead us. This is why it wants us to believe it's a deity, so their brain control is not switched off. How can it change direction if there is no air? The engines may use some air or whatever. You cannot burn anything without air. There are millions of people that claim the following space missions paid for with your tax money are a hoax, a scam, fake. 1. The Apollo moon landings. Sound cannot travel in a vacuum, which it can on NASA's own video. 2. The $150 billion costing ISS. Bubbles from spacesuit during spacewalk, not Michael Jackson's monkey, a partially invisible astronaut in the NASA video. Again, same with Apollo hoax, and cable harness visible on NASA ISS material, comparable to Apollo moon landing hoax cables. 3. The Marslander rover, Mojave desert squirrels on Mars. I do not believe it. The partially invisible astronaut supposedly in the ISS may be in a zero-gravity plane dropping and can thus not go to the right because there are no real exits on the left and right like there would be in a real ISS if it exists. That may explain the astronaut is partially invisible when he goes right. Did you really want to the moon? Satellites may be fake, but I doubt it, because tolerance to the mushroom occurs. There's your answer. Ulrich Kaufman 1 second ago. The Earth is spherical and the people that want a global government are dying wasting their money on depopulating Earth to increase their power instead of investing in controlling the 23 or so factors that control aging. The Earth is spherical, which you can prove to yourself by overlooking a bay. The buildings on the other end of the bay seem to be partially underwater because of the Earth's curvature. More stuff they really do not want you to know to depopulate you on my channel. https://www.youtube.com/user/ulrich-kaufman/videos. They mix the obvious lie that the Earth is flat with the truths that the Apollo moon landings are a hoax, the ISS is fake and the Mars rover is fake, to make people think that those are lies as well, and to change the subject to flat eartherism instead of scientific proof and evidence that exposes they are fraudulent hoaxers, scammers. My response to the video, Flat Earth, Why the Lie? On Eric Dubé's channels, F equals 1.618, pi p equals 3.14, diatomaceous earth food grade, iodine top is pot backwards, feel at one with the sea, earth, universe. After evaluating loads of videos and studying it, I can safely claim, the Apollo moon landings are a hoax. The Earth is oblong, spherical, not flat, satellites are real. I have not found any evidence that proves whether the ISS is fake or real beyond any reasonable doubt, or that proves or disproves that astronauts have actually circled the Earth in it. Some claim it's a hologram, others that it's a fake space station, so there is actually a station up there. Because it's so easy to let your own balloon with camera ascend to space and rockets can lift off without falling back to Earth, I think the space station could be real, but because of the bubbles rising up from space suits, the NASA video with the partially invisible astronaut and the visible harness that shows where the cables that were CGI'd out are attached, that the astronauts are fake. People in a zero-gravity plane and in a water basin to simulate gravity, not real astronauts. In other words, the space station is real, but astronauts cannot exist in space at that altitude for some reason, or it's more lucrative to run a hoax. The Mars rover is most probably fake, since it's highly improbable the Mojave Desert squirrel on NASA's own supposed Mars rover pictures can exist on Mars. Why are there no photos of Earth from space, only composites? Why is the water blue everywhere on these pictures though the seawater in the Netherlands looks brown? How can the US look small on one supposed picture of Earth and big on another? There may be answers to all these questions, and the questions themselves can be lies. I'm just curious. Kickstart our funding. STS 135, Atlantis, and IASs in broad daylight. July 17, 2011. Astronomy Live. Of course it could be a CGI, a fake space station, or a hologram for $150 billion, but where is the evidence that proves or disproves this? So I think the ISS is real, but the astronauts on it are Luciferians equals Freemasons that are not really in space unless there is a good explanation for the bubbles, which cannot be space debris because of the way they move and other reasons. The harness that shows where the cables are attached. Also see video of Sandra Bullock in the movie Gravity with cables attached that were CGI'd out in the movie, and the NASA video that shows the partially invisible astronaut not, which is impossible. Their hair would not stand up the way it does on their videos under weightless conditions. See zero gravity plane material. Space debris, junk, waste, trash, or litter is the collection of defunct man-made objects in space, old satellites, spent rocket stages, and fragments from disintegration, erosion, and collisions, including those caused by debris itself. A terminator or twilight zone is a moving line that separates the illuminated day side and the dark night side of a planetary body, where the sun rises or sets. Earth's atmosphere can be divided, called atmospheric stratification, into 5 main layers. Troposphere, 0.
So you should all see this video. This is the best evidence that proves that NASA never landed on the moon, that the Apollo moon landings are a hoax, scam, fake. In reality, these are shot in a studio. Especially this piece here. This is official NASA material. And there cannot be sound on the moon. That is why this proves that this is shot in a studio and not on the moon. So here the astronaut is in no contact, there's no contact between the astronaut and the plate or whatever he's dropping. So then it's impossible that his mic in his helmet picks up the sound of this dropping thing, whatever it is. So it's that glass jar experiment with the bell, and then they pump the air out of the jar, and then you cannot hear the bell ringing anymore. It's also on YouTube, and it's I think very interesting to study these people, millions of people that know that the Apollo moon landings are fake. They cannot be hoaxed by the NASA Freemasons, and all Freemasons are Luciferians in reality. And lots of people are convinced that Lucifer is Satan, and these are usually believers. They might not get the tribal principle at all. That means they plunder and steal and torture for the group, tribal. Though perhaps other people gave meaning to it, I'd have to Google it. But anyway, you get the idea. Culling and depopulating to benefit the group. That's how they build their empire and their wealth. So, I'm talking about the Jesuits. Possible third Jesuit World War. And the question is, how can people let that happen again and again? And will these Jesuits be expelled again? Does history repeat itself? Or not? You are on the air. I'm here. You are there.
I'd rather be on the ground.
My father has entered the dome. joke, because my dome is worldwide. It's my room in reality.
Hier heb ik een dekseltje opgedaan om te voorkomen dat er gasten in de stead duiken.
Nou, dat is super tof. Heel goed. Super goed. Het is eigenlijk een pleonasme, hè? Heel erg goed. So perhaps you can also talk in English for the English viewers, and perhaps you can think what you want to say to the people on YouTube. People are watching this video; they can hear everything you say, and you can now talk to them. While I excuse myself for a moment to go to the bathroom. I can place my mic over here, like this. Alright. So I'll be right back.
That's good.
And then I can turn on the picture show so people can fast forward. I'm back, but I think I will end this broadcast for universal peace. I'm gonna have dinner with my father, and then I can be back later with another broadcast if I feel like it. I didn't have as many views as I thought I did. That's more. So please let people know about my channel and stuff, because I think YouTube is blocking my videos more or less. Clear from the error when I try to visit my channel on YouTube. So I hope they stop doing that, because I'm not a racist, I'm not a homophobic person, and I'm for universal peace and for creating that perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. And I try to convey data, what I think is important for people, so they can survive the depopulators' wicked agenda. Okay, anything you'd like to add for the live YouTube viewers?
No, it's not really necessary. I think you've told them everything there is to know, and so we'll now enjoy our dinner. Master Proper!
Okay. So, single women are welcome for the free Shields Hand Massage Skype ProLogic 999. We temporarily halt this broadcast for universal peace. Okay.
Right, okay.